Black power.
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 Black power. Everywhere we go, people want to know who we are and where we come from.
Who are we?
RBPP.
And where do we come from?
Revolution.
Where do we come from?
Revolution.
Where do we come from?
Revolution.
Where do we come from?
The revolution.
I don't think they heard you. Who are we?
RBPP.
And where do we come from?
Revolution.
Where do we come from?
Revolution.
I don't think they heard you. Who are we?
RBPP.
And where do we come from?
Revolution.
Where do we come from?
Revolution.
I still don't think they heard you. Who are we?
RBPP.
And where do we come from?
Revolution.
Where do we come from?
Revolution.
Where do we come from?
Revolution.
I still don't think they heard you. One more time. Who are we?
RBPP.
And where do we come from?
Revolution.
Where do we come from?
Revolution.
Where do we come from?
Revolution.
Good, good, good. Very good. Black power.
Black power.
You are now listening to, officially now, the Revolutionary Black Panther Party radio broadcast for Thursday, August the 3rd, 2017. Tonight's topic is the origins of black people's toxic jealousy and hatred for each other. The origins of black people toxic jealousy and hatred. Complete title. The origins of black people's self-hatred, toxic jealousy, and crab in a barrel mentality that we have towards each other. So what we're about to do first for you is bring you, as always, as you so love, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey Black Power Children's Hour, as the youth are the future. They are the future. They are the future of who we are. And so the wisdom that they drop, the information that they get, the things that they jot down to cite to you is the future of us. And so you listen good and listen very intently. Who do we have coming up first? We have this young, bold general. And what do you want to say to the people? Cub general. He's a cub. What do you want to say? What you have to say?
No one wants to kill.
Very good, very good. He said knowledge is power. Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power. Very
Black
good,
power.
very good. And next we have coming up, who's next? We have this young general, y'all know him. This is General Shaka. He is the official Panther Cub Minister of Defense. And who do you have us some words of wisdom from tonight? And please, General, turn your flag upright. Black power.
Black power.
Who do you have us a quote from tonight?
Malcolm X.
Shay, drop it on us. And speak louder too so the people can hear you.
If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
I think they need to hear that one more time because a lot of our people, honestly, we don't stand for too much. So say your quote one more time.
If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything.
Black power.
Black power.
Very good. Next we got coming up for you, the Panther Youth Squad leader. This is young General Asante. Many of you have seen her. Y'all love her picture. Her and her sister, where they have the pistol and they're standing together. The Honorable Bold Sister Corin Gaines also had their picture as one of the pictures that she revered. Now you will hear some powerful words coming from her. And who do you have us a quote from?
Assata Shakur.
Woo, powerful. Our revolutionary queen mother. Go ahead and drop it on the people.
A revolutionary woman should not have a reactionary man.
Hey, you got to say that loud and say it one more time because I don't think they heard you. From? There we go. My live is.
A woman should not have a reactionary man.
Black power.
Black
power.
Black power.
Beautiful. Next we got coming up. This is the Panther Youth Minister of Culture, General Heru. And who do you have us some words of wisdom from?
Kwame Ture.
Woo! Drop it on us. Shay family. Go ahead.
There is a higher law than the law of the government. That is a law of conscience.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power. Did
Black
you hear
power.
it? Did you hear him? One more time. Heru, tell them what time it is.
There's a higher law than the law of conscience. That is a law of government.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
One more time. What is the quote?
There's a higher law than the law of the government. That is the law of conscience.
Black power.
Black power.
Very good. And next we got coming up for you, the Panther Youth General, Field Marshal, General Imhotep. And who do you have us some words of wisdom from?
Huey P. Newton.
Uh-oh. Who you got words of wisdom from?
Huey P. Newton.
Ashe. Who you got words of wisdom from?
Huey P. Newton.
Ashe. And drop it on us.
Black power is giving power to the people who do not have power to determine their destiny.
He said it very powerful, good and fast. But one more time for the people. What is black power and who is the quote from?
Huey P. Newton.
And what is it?
Black power is giving power to the people who do not have power to determine their destiny.
Ashe, black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Very good. Next we got the young Queen General, the Panther Youth Chief of Staff, Queen Nzinga. General Nzinga. And who do you have us some wisdom from?
Dr. Francis Cress Wilson.
Ashe, and can you speak a little louder for the listening audience?
By Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. And most important, black males must help one another to understand that they are being led by the dynamic of white supremacy to inflict extreme damage upon themselves, one another, and ultimately the black race. Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power. Black power. Black power. Black, very beautiful. I don't want to put y'all on the spot, but would y'all like to do one of y'all theme revolutionary anthems for the people? Little something?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all ready to do something? Whoever don't have the energy to do it, you are at ease officially. Y'all, as a matter of fact, all of you are at ease officially. But you want to drop something, you can. You feel like it? All right, go ahead. Let's go. You at ease. You good. You good. Black power.
Black power.
Keeping my swagger, revolution rider. My album is a general. Raise me as a soldier. Teach me how to shoot like an iron sniper. Teach me how to live right and be a survivor. Educated minded, revolution grounded. Training for the revolution, keep my mind bounded.
Teach me how to shoot.
Teach me how to aim right. Teach me how to fight back. Teach me how to load man.
Everybody training for the revolution. Everybody training for the revolution.
Teach me how to shoot.
Teach me how to aim right. Teach me how to
fight back.
Teach me how to
load man.
Everybody training for the revolution.
Everybody ready
for this revolution.
Black power.
Black power. Black power. Black power. Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Very, very powerful. Very, very great. Very good information that was given and dropped on you tonight. Very good quotations by some of the best who have lived amongst us. Kwame Ture, great ancestor. We also had Dr. Wilson, great ancestor. Dr. Huey P. Newton, great ancestor. Beautiful quotes by the Revolutionary Black Panther Party Cubs. You all are officially at ease. Revolutionary love and black power.
Black power.
Let the listening audience know how much you love them and give them black power.
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 See, here's the thing. This is the future. I raised these babies on revolution. On revolution. This young cub right here, in his studies, he is training to actually be a cardiologist, a doctor, a black doctor. This young revolutionary here. This queen here, this young general here is training to be a black lawyer in the international law capacity and also dealing with the aspects of criminality to help liberate our people on all fronts. And we have this bold youth right here who's also studying to be a doctor. And he's going to follow in his father's footsteps and be a neurologist, that kind of black doctor. Very powerful. And then we have this cub right here who's also, we have many things for him to observe in the fields. Law, medicine. He too wants to study neurology. Tell the people revolutionary love and black power. Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
You didn't give him no love? You ain't give him no love? Tell him revolutionary love.
Revolutionary love.
Black power. Don't be shy. And this cub right here also is studying, he himself, he's studying to be a doctor as well. So that's what we got in the house. We have them training as black doctors. Some of the youth, some of them are sleeping. A lot of the younger ones are. And it was just some that we had be at ease tonight, but they're also training to be doctors, engineers, lawyers, and nation builders, because that's what it's about. See, I go out in the community. I organize. There's chapters throughout the country. We have 40 chapters nationwide. And when you go amongst people, I remember back in the days, there was a Rastafari elder who was talking to me. She's like, you know, in our beautiful Rastafari community, they like to, in that African culture, we actuate sometimes our own lingo. And she's like, you know, me not bother with adults because them too adulterated, is what she says. And so what, in essence, what we have to focus on, not to say that adults are adulterated, but the point is that the enemy has so much that they have exacerbated amongst us in the idea of psychological warfare, trauma, and madness, that the adults are so caught up into their own madness, sometimes their own egos and their own other foolishness that the enemy has thrown on us when we reach a certain age and time, that it's sometimes difficult for us to move the way we need to move. But the youth are the future. So what I always do sometimes is sit back and laugh at some of these fools who are old enough to do better and be better, because the revolutionary strategy is always the youth. So these are youth that come from the loins, and from the loins in the womb, they're trained for liberation. From the loins in the womb, they're trained for revolution. From the loins in the womb, they are trained to deal with issues that many of our people as adults, that many of our people who should do better, do not. So I just wanted to let y'all experience them live tonight, because you're used to just hearing their voices. Revolutionary love, Black Power. Y'all at ease. Black Power.
Black Power.
Black Power. Very good. Black Power. Oh, and last but not least, young Youth Nzinga. She's training to be an attorney as well, and in her studies. So this is what they're on. This is the path they're on. Nothing but love to the family. And for any operatives or agents who, I mean, y'all always around. It don't matter what it is we're doing. As long as you have people that have melanin hue, you have some there. You could be doing one of your Moorish videos and you got some operative there asking you some questions. You can be doing your Hebrew Israelite videos or information dissemination. You got some operatives there. You could be doing your Black Muslim videos and you have some people there for brothers and sisters and family and the Black Muslim community. You could be doing your comedic videos and you have operatives there. There's always some butt licking, foot licking, toe sucking, hoof and jig dancing, coning, clowning, towel down, undercooked, under roasted, emasculated, and questioned, effeminate, debilitated, green, saturated, concentrated, slack spine, bend over backward, nigger operatives there. Whenever we do things like this, how dare any operative to actually have the unintimidated gall amongst Black youth to show your madness. See, there's some things that me as a revolutionary and as a chief general in the revolution, that I hear foolishness and talk is cheap, because half the things that come out of people's mouth, they wouldn't even whisper in your presence. Half, not even half, 2% of the things that will come out their mouth on social media, on the telephone, or whispering to someone, they would never say or whisper in front of you. But I tell you something. I tell you now, if you ever in your life or existence do it in front of my babies, and I don't give a damn if the enemy's listening, I say not even in self-defense, I will murk your ass totally. And excuse my language, babies. Black Power. Black Power. Y'all at ease, unless you want to stay around. So what we got coming up right now is the news report, the actual community news report for this week. And we got the Queen. We got the Deputy Chief of the Revolutionary Black Panther Party. That is Deputy Chief General in Command Alli Muhammad, coming up shortly to disseminate some powerful information for you all tonight. So you all sit tight as we deal with that. And again, it's nothing but revolutionary love for all of you who are attentive tonight, and is being as respectful as you can be. And again, we got a very powerful broadcast, very powerful information that's coming up soon, but we're going to bring her forth at this particular point in time. So as we prepare for that, I want you all to just chill for a moment. And we got about, I give you a 2-minute recess. Black Power. Come on. Very good, very good. Black Power. So we are back. And so we have the deputy chief who will be giving you the actual news report, current news report for this week, and coming actually some information. I think some of it pertains to some statements that were made also last week as well, and very powerful information. So whenever you're ready, deputy chief, you can move forward. How you feeling?
I feel good. Black Power, Chief.
Black Power.
Black
Wait,
Power
and
family.
before you get started, I'm sorry. I also know that she is currently with child due in December. I'm just saying, 'cause I can just hear you breathing and stuff. It's all good, so they don't think you just like lazy and out of breath or something. I'm just trying to let them know. So she currently is. So but she's very strong, very strong. So go ahead and you can kick the information to them. Black Power.
Black Power family. I hope everybody enjoyed the Black Power Panther Cubs. They are very dedicated to the movement, and to have our children be a part of the revolution is the future. And to educate them on everything that's going on in the world, to let them know how our people are just completely miseducated and very misled by the media, by music, what they're teaching in school. Everything about the society today is basically to corrupt our children, and you know what I'm saying, just to keep them away from the truth and knowledge of who we really are. But I really want to bring you guys some news. If you guys did not know that our U.S. President, Donald Trump.
Wait, hold on. I ain't trying to correct you. Not our U.S. president.
Well, the U.S. president, because he's not my president. But some people might say that's their president.
A lot of them out there saying that's their president. They wearing onks and wearing fezzes and wearing bow ties and selling bean pies and calling this no good bastard their president. So there's a lot of them out there doing that. But sometimes those verbal slips take place because of the fact that you live in the United States of America, but he has definitely got nothing to do with ours. This one or the last one. Right. But go ahead.
But he stated last Friday, he said that the police should abandon their procedures when throwing thugs into the back of a paddy wagon. Now we know that they, say that black people are thugs, they're criminals, they're gangbangers, they're the scum of the earth. So we know when they say thug, they basically are targeting black people. So he stated that police should abandon their the way they will protect you and don't bump your head and stuff like that. He said that they should stop doing that and just use rough force on people that's being incarcerated. So that should let us know that we are not cared about and that they are constantly targeting us because of the color of our skin. And the U.S. government, the U.S. president do not care about us, people of color, black Africans, Mexicans, whatever you are, there's not another skin color. They don't care about us. So basically, we have to continually protect ourselves, and when we're on the streets, make sure that we always have either someone with us. If you get pulled over, make sure you're always recording, because it's good to let people know what's going on. Because if you don't let them know what's going on, then nobody can basically come to your assistance. And people really won't know exactly what's going on and what happened. So that's one of the news that we have for today, with Donald Trump saying that police should abandon their procedures when using force against people.
You
thugs.
nervous?
Oh, hi, man.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Go ahead.
But yeah, so I really don't like that too much. He already say too much as it is already. So by him saying that police should use roughness on thugs, we know he meaning black people and throw them in the back of a paddy wagon. We know what paddy wagons are, you know what I'm saying? So they've been using paddy wagons since, slavery days, when they was using, slave catchers or slave patrol or the paddy rollers, whatever you want to call them. But
and most people don't know really what that comes from. See, you think the wagon is that van that they bring out. The paddy wagon that you call today, that's really a van. But what they used to do, what the paddy rollers would do, is actually have wagons where they would load bodies up and put the slaves that they actually catch, their bodies. The paddy, see, some of y'all don't even know what the hell a paddy roller is. Paddy roller is a name that was given to a particular group and class of white folks that actually targeted, monitored black people during chattel slavery. And when they would actually kill us and hunt us down, they would throw us in wagons, the paddy wagons. And so in the 20th century, in the 21st century, as is today, they got paddy wagons that they named the actual vehicle. But you have to understand the history of it to really know how deep it is. And when they say language, understand the coded language that she was talking about. They have a lot of euphemism and actually, for the most part, dysphemisms to describe us. So thug, perp, all those different terms that they use are no more than coded language or alternative words to just say nigga. And I know that many of you understand that, but for those of you who don't, just get that straight. But very powerful information that you're dropping.
so nervous.
Yeah, you were nervous. You were talking about
He's like, don't mind him. Too much. But I don't like that at all. I really don't like orange people. So.
And they say orange is the new black. I'm just playing.
Don't play this. That's my favorite show. Don't do that.
That's your favorite show.
I like that.
There's too much other stuff going on in there. But go ahead. So you got some.
Christian White said he's been in a paddy wagon. Hunt is on.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Paddy wagon is nowhere for none of us to be. And
taken lightly.
Right. So,
it's almost like calling the prison cell plantation, or the actual prison. Or jail. We carry them to the plantation. Yeah. So just the fact that we don't understand modern terminology, and that's what really get us caught up. Because goddamn well, a van is not a wagon, and you never question why they call it that. But that's empirical historical information that the paddy rollers, the slave catchers, the slave patrols would murk us, kill us, and then throw us in wagons. Throw us in wagons. Go ahead. I was actually gonna hand it to you. Go ahead. If you want. But go ahead.
But other than that, there's really nothing else that's going on in the news right now besides people or the news speaking on what Trump stated. He was actually stating this during he was delivering a speech on gang violence and illegal immigrants. And when he was speaking on that, he decided to say that about your so-called thugs. And he was like, when you're throwing them in the neighborhoods, or you just throwing thugs in the back of paddy wagons, you know what I'm saying? Don't remove the hand. Remove the hand from over them. Don't like, how police say, don't bump your head, watch your head, take that away. He's basically saying he's using complete force on people now that's being incarcerated or, going through the procedures of being through in the slave plantation. So that's about it right now.
Very good. Very, very good. So, good information. What we will be doing, family, is we'll be getting started soon officially with it. You got any more information you want to drop on? Nothing? Enlightened Beauty, all the information you be disseminating. Listen, she need to tell y'all some information because she do it to me every night. Okay, for hours, just all kind of information. So she need to be telling y'all information. I said, listen, you need to, do your videos. And she just like, she's a perfectionist. So she needs to be giving y'all the information. I don't know why she's sitting there like, she's pregnant, but I understand like she's nervous or something. She ain't no nervousness in her bone. Cause I'm saying, just saying. I'm just saying.
You probably ready to
get started
on
the topic for the night. Indeed, I am. Yeah. Indeed, I am. So, what we'll be doing is getting started pretty soon. I will be taking a little break before I go, but I just want y'all to really truly understand that, as she was letting you know, that information is nothing to take lightly. It's nothing to for the most part to just take as just hyperbole. If you got the president of the United States of America telling law enforcement in America to be rough with us, now we already know they're rough with us. They beat us, kill us, shoot us every time we're being assassinated by them. But when he says that, it's as if he is, for the most part, giving an extra push to him, extra condoning of that. Anywhere else in the world, it's a statement that straight, blatantly, just like straight up and blatantly condones the genocidal tactics and acts that are done against us. And when they are rough with us, that's not no police brutality. Excuse pardon my broken English. It isn't police brutality. It's not. What it actually is a form of genocide when they do bodily harm to us. And so what he's saying is he's telling the world and he's telling them to just go ahead and beat the niggas up. Go ahead. Don't try to protect their heads. Smash their damn heads. Do whatever you feel is necessary to them. That's really what he's saying. And those of you who don't understand need to wake up. This is the Trump era. This is a whole different kind of era. They raised Adolf Hitler years ago, almost 100 years ago. Almost. We're about 20 years shy, about roughly 20 years shy of it being 100 years, to do things of this nature. But now they have one who in particular is right at you and right down your throat. Not hiding, not pretending, but straight up. So you have to be very careful. And we need to get the disunity, the division, the actual divisiveness and all the other things that keep us destroyed as a race and people. So we'll be started with the official information for tonight, dealing with the context of the topic momentarily. Revolutionary love and black power to all of you as we go to recess, but it's going to be dropping some heavy stuff down for you. For those of you who called in, it's good because as we go into another hour, you will be able to stay on longer. For those of you who did not, you will drop off when we reach a certain point in time. So we'll be right back with you. Revolutionary love and black power to you, family.
Black power.
Black power. Sometimes we hear that song and I really don't believe when it comes to us dealing with each other that because of what we've gone through, and I'm just saying belief, I know for surety that we're going to pull it together. But so I should say sometimes I don't believe. Sometimes I don't believe that we try hard enough to have what it takes to love each other. Talking about could you be loved? We could love each other. A lot of powerful information has been in the lyrics of Robert Nesta Marley, and some people are still trying to catch up to a lot of things he talked about, particularly in the community that he was most popularized in, which is the Rastafari community. He dropped so much information in the span of time that he was actually disseminating his music and himself to the world. Like I said, she's a perfectionist. She's moving the stuff all over the place. It's all good though. It's all right. Let me make sure that this is in a proper position. It's good. Okay, good. You happy and satisfied?
Almost. You go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just trying to fix it.
I'm trying to be like you. I'm trying to be a perfectionist like you.
I'm trying to make sure they see your attention.
Yeah, I think that's okay. Let's see. I'm gonna try it back over here. It was kind of good how it was, but you were at a distance. I see what you mean.
Yeah. Okay. You good?
Okay. Very good. I hope I'm good. Okay. Very good. All right. So we're gonna get started. Enough of the side talk. So let's go. So the topic for tonight is the origins of Black people's toxic jealousy and hatred. The origins of Black people toxic jealousy and hatred. The complete title is The Origins of Black People's Self-Hatred, Toxic Jealousy, and the Crabs in a Barrel Mentality that we've picked up in our Holocaust. Black people collectively being victims of abnormal forms of toxic jealousy, self-hatred, so deep and so serious and so heavy that it leads to murder, death, destruction of ourselves, groups, leaders, families, communities, countries, and nations. However, what is the origins and base of it? Since we're talking about the origins, the world knows that people of African descent, that Black African people built civilization. They know this. The world knows this. So how did we end up as the collective? How did we start off as the collective builders of civilization, religions, social systems and organizations and political systems to the destroyers and disuniters and haters of our own, to the point that some of the best amongst us have been taken out by those in our face. Not even, we know who is usually behind the plot and the scheme, but how is it? Where does it come from? So we're going to be dealing with a particular psychological disorder that I diagnosed coming in the traumatic Black African Holocaust disorder. which is what I diagnosed that we have. So let's officially get started with this part of the broadcast. Al-Dubla-Himina Shaitan Rajim. In the name of the Supreme Being, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I greet you, my beautiful and beloved brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. And for some, shalom alaikum. Shalom, shalom, ma shalom ka, and ma shalama. And for others, other members of the family, Islam, Hotep, Ma'at Hotep, Shemi Hotep, and Hotep. For one great member of the family, we say, free the lands. Free the lands, free the lands, by any means, by any and all means necessary. For another great member of the family, we say, peace God, peace God, peace God, to the nation of gods and earth. Peace God, peace earth. To one great member of the family, we say, GD folk, disciple, and to another great member of the family, bold member of the family, strong members of the family, we say, what's up, cuz? What's up, cuz? What's up, blood? What's up, blood? And sending the various greetings to the various houses of Rastafari, we say, Jah Rastafari, Jah Rastafari. Sending all the love to the family. Greetings, blessed one love in all stages and connections and legacies and extensions of black love, black laws, and black power. Indeed, for black people. Oh, we got a heck of information, heck of a broadcast for you tonight. The topic, as we discuss, is the origins of black people's toxic jealousy and hatred towards each other. So now let's deal with this particular thing, because it's heavy. And we're going to go over one of the corollaries of the Black African Holocaust disorder that, of course, I diagnosed that we have, but a major corollary. And let's deal with the Black African Holocaust disorder for those of you who don't know. But before we really get started, we must understand that whenever we give information to our people, we must make sure that it is empirical information. Because out of all of our studies, listen carefully now, I said empirical information. Empirical, not what I've heard somebody try to use a term and they said imperative, empirical information, meaning that it is based on a science that is tangible, empirical information. Because out of all of our studies, empirical science is best qualified and most attractive to reward us with the empirical facts and data necessary to deal with our circumstances. Empirical scripture, regardless of what your position is or where you are. And I'm hearing some static, and I wouldn't know why I'll be hearing anything like that. It's weird. I had like some kind of static. Black Power, if you all are having problems, listening, please write something on your screens, because I hear like some kind of static in the background, which we shouldn't be hearing any static at all. I hear it myself. So if you all hear it, let me hear you just write that you hear it. If you don't hear any static, I will proceed. Actually, it's still there. I'm going to proceed anyway. It's not going to stop me. But again, out of all of our studies, the information that we disseminate must be empirical, including empirical history. Because out of all of our studies, empirical history, our story, your story, the black story, is best qualified and most attracted to reward us with the empirical knowledge of our past, to deal with present circumstances that we are dealing with. Empirical psychology is best qualified to reward us with the empirical psychoanalysis to deal with our problems on a psychological level, so that we can have the curatives and preventatives to heal family. So let's get into this whole thing now. What happened to us? How do we end up in the position and condition we are in? So let's go back. Let's go way back and understand what is going on. First and foremost, what makes the traumatic Black African Holocaust disorder unique is the fact that it has corollaries. The best and greats amongst us, Dr. Franz Fanon, Dr. Nellie Fuller, Dr. Francis Quest Wilson, Dr. Bobby Wright, Dr. Amos Williams, Dr. Naeem Makbar, and we can't leave out Dr. Joy DeGraw. They have given us so much beneficial information dealing with our psychological conditions from a Black perspective, because in the field of psychology, the various schools of psychology, in psychiatry, and even in counseling, the actual statistic amount of people of African descent there is 2 to 4% of psychologists and psychiatrists and counselors are Black. So when they make the diagnostic and statistical manual of mental disorders, it's not made based on what you're going through, because the people writing it and the people doing the science on it is not really even that aware of what is truly going on with us, because for the most part, they're studying themselves. So we need people amongst us, and we need to respect those amongst us who are able to go after our minds and to deal with the issues that we have, so that we can heal and stop being weapons used against our very own existence and our very own liberation. So let's deal with it now. Let's deal with it, empirically speaking now. So what is it? What happened to us? Well, this is the point. Victims of trauma and those who experience the trauma can usually end up with, and I really think that static is...
They said the static wasn't bothering them. We really couldn't hear.
Okay, good. Okay, very good. So for those of you for those of you who are watching live, for those of you who are listening otherwise, I've actually turned the volume back up on that, because the static I was hearing was actually interfering with me. It was very loud. So that's why I was asking you all if you heard it. So I'm getting ready to continue and move forward. For General George, please let me know if everything is okay on your end, where you have called in. Is everything okay with the lines, General George? Black Power, let me know at this time so I can proceed. Black Power, one more time, General George, do you copy? Is everything right and exact? Is everything good? Do you copy, General George? Or please let me know when you're able to catch up. Let me know if everything's good. He may have actually gotten off that line. Just come right back on. Everything's good now. Should be fine. Moving right along. 10-4. Very good. So what happened to us? What happened? People who, again, are victims of trauma or the witnesses of trauma, what they themselves experience as a result of that trauma is usually some type of traumatic long-term effect. Sometimes they have PTSD, but that's not everybody. Everybody, some people who experience it, their minds are a little bit stronger. So it doesn't mean everybody, but most people. So Dr. Joy DeGraw taught us and teaches us well about the post-traumatic slavery disorder, which is a race PTSD as a result of our Holocaust. Very powerful. Dr. Wilson taught us for years of what racism and white supremacy did to us and does to us. As a matter of fact, it was Dr. Fuller who science that racism was white supremacy and how it really destroyed us and what it really does to us. And if we do not understand racism as white supremacy, then everything else we understand will only serve to confuse us. They broke it down so clearly to us, especially the Crest theory was all about that. But moving right along and moving strong and moving powerful. So let's deal with this now. So what happened to us? Imagine those ancestors who had to witness their entire, and I don't use the term tribe, figuratively speaking, you may hear it every now and then, but Black African nation states. Imagine those ancestors who had to witness their entire nation state exterminated. Imagine the elders, the youth. Imagine those who had to witness their entire families exterminated, or their mother being stripped down and put in the hells and holes of ships, or their sons or their daughters or their fathers or their grandmothers or their 2- and 3-year-old babies. They had shackles for little babies. So imagine the ancestors, the youth, the elders the greats who had to witness that and then be thrown in the hells and holes of ships, and rape being the daily diet for the black African woman. And brothers, y'all ain't off the hook. We are not off the hook. And the black African man too, raped and tortured in the hells and holes of ships. Imagine the experience. And then to be taken to destinations for months at a time in the hells and holes of those ships, stripped down to nothing. Stripped down to nothing. And as we reach destinations, they would have our ancestors come off ships, and this recorded, and then take certain ancestors, usually the most rebellious brother who was on that ship, the one who was ready to just break the ship apart, or the most rebellious sister who was on that ship. And sometimes it was a pregnant sister for the impact. They would take that black African man, take that black African woman, and a lot of times it was the biggest African man they could find, because this enemy, the enemy of black people, the enemy of people of African descent, has a sick, twisted habit of sizing niggas up, as they say, where when you study when they invaded our nation states, they always went to chisel the woman out, but not just chisel her out, but break off the phallus of black totems and black male statues. Always has this envy over our phallus. So moving right along, so they size us up. Take the black African man, hang him upside down. Take the black African woman, hang her upside down. Slice open her stomach, filled with life usually because he raped it into her womb. Then he would again take some type of instrument and slice her stomach open and stick his no good cystic fibrosis mutant hands into her womb and snatch the baby out and crush the baby's head with his boot heel or a rifle butt and sometimes some heavy object, and then take the black African woman, take her and take the black African man, take him, take us and emasculate us, blood pouring over our face and making mud puddles under our head. And any African ancestor who would ooh and ah and show expressions and feelings towards the trauma and the actual torture being done to black African life would be killed, would be stabbed in their mouth, shot in their throats. Take a black African man, take a black African woman, tie ropes to our hands, tie ropes to our feet, around our heads, sometimes the reproductive organ, sometimes the breast for the black woman, tie it to a horse or some oxen or large animals, have those animals beat, shoot, or scare them, go in opposite directions and split open the black life. And if the black woman was pregnant, many of the times the baby was right there, and they would have a large animal crush that baby, or they themselves would come and have the base of what they call a boot potty, the base of where they get curve stomping from, and crush the black baby's skull there on the ground. And any black African male or female or person showing expressions and feelings about that would be harmed for doing that. We were not allowed to express feelings for each other. No wonder we're so goddamn cold and callous towards each other, having suppressed feelings and emotions. Then they'll say, listen here, nigga, your name is no longer Omawale. Your name is no longer Babatunde. You listen here, nigga girl. Your name is no longer Nzinga. Your name is Sally. Your name is Billy. Your name is Bobby. Think like this, nigga. Act like this, nigga. Do like this, nigga. Traumatically, in an obtrusive way, imposing us into the nigga, the Negropean, a cracker in blackface. That's the science of it. So where does this toxic jealousy that I'm speaking about tonight comes from? This toxic self-hatred we have towards each other. Where does it come from? What is the base of it? Well, you just got the science behind it. Well, we got to get more specific. So what did the enemy do on the plantation? So on the plantation, what he would do is he would find particular, sometimes the hardest workers amongst us, the ones out there who didn't even complain in the field. and just did work as field Negroes. And he would take them and give them special privileges in the field. And a lot of time, these special privileges had to do with lording over other Africans in the field. So what this naturally did was incite a traumatic jealousy in the other slaves on the plantation, as this particular one was given special attention, given gifts and things of that nature. And along with that came abuse. You don't follow what I'm saying? Because I'm not done with what I'm saying. The trauma that happened to people of African descent in the diaspora, it ain't no different on the continent. You see, on the continent, you have brothers and sisters whose name is Babatunde, sisters whose name is Nzinga and other great African names. They were not robbed of a knowledge of self, but colonialism and chattel slavery has a serious dynamic to it. The connection that it does to the victim of it. It's a very serious thing. So when you start dealing with it in Africa, to understand what happened in America, I'll give you an example. The Hutus and the Tutsi. The Belgium came into Banyarwanda, and other Europeans did. The name of the nation state was Banyarwanda, and the people were the Banyarwandan people. Hutu, Tutsi were titles that they had, designated for occupation in the most part. And they divided the people up. And they did the same thing. They took a group of them and gave them certain gifts and certain things to lord over the others, which incited a toxic jealousy towards that other African for what was given to them over the next. And eventually, as time progressed, genocide came out of those Africans to the other Africans because of this toxic jealousy, this obtrusive jealousy, of this imposed jealousy and hatred we have, which is orchestrated by enemies who hide behind the scene as the puppet master. So on the plantation, they would do certain things for certain Africans, especially the ones who got more attention on the plantation. If they got more attention, then, and more assuredly, because when we were on the chattel plantation, there was no FBI, no CIA, no KKK, no modern law enforcement as we know today. It was the slave patrol, the patty rollers. It was the investigation at that time was investigating what we were doing. The intelligence at that time was the intelligence on who we were and what we were doing. And the coons that they were sending in the field to report back to them and let them know. But they would target certain members of us. They would target us, those of us who got the most attention. And they would grab them in and give them things. And in essence of doing such, it would actually incite jealousy and hatred towards the other slaves around who wasn't getting nothing. So in our Holocaust, a lot of what we exhibit towards each other has to do with the trauma that has been imposed upon us. But we have to deal with this on a scientific level. For those of you who understand, I have put together a Black African Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders for our people, coming out of a very serious dynamic of Black African psychology that I empirically put together to deal with the issues that our people have. So I'm going to break down some information for you to really understand this from a empirical perspective. See, most of you don't understand that jealousy can be pathological. Now, this is not from anything that I'm sciencing empirically or anything that I'm deducing empirically, but these are facts according to psychology in essence. The psychological definition of jealousy is an emotion. The term generally refers to the thoughts and feelings of insecurity, fear, concern, and envy over relative lack of possessions, status, character, or great personal value, particularly in reference to a human comparator. That's a psychological definition of it. And in essence, jealousy often consists of a combination of emotions, psychologically speaking, such as anger, resentment, inadequacy, lack thereof, in essence, helplessness and disgust. And its original meaning, jealousy is distinct from envy, even though when you're jealous, you got some envy there. Though the two terms have popularly become synonymous in the English language today, and sometimes they are used colloquially, one meaning the other, they're similar but not exactly the same. So let's deal with pathological jealousy. Well, let's first understand jealousy. Jealousy, a complex emotion that encompasses feelings ranging from fear, and y'all forgive me if my eyes are moving because I'm dealing with two different live feeds, and so that's why it's going one way and going the other direction. But understanding jealousy. Jealousy is a complex emotion that encompasses feelings ranging from fear and abandonment to rage and humiliation. Jealousy strikes both men and women, and it is most typically aroused when a person perceives a threat to a valued relationship from a third party. The threat may be real or perceived. It is not limited to just romantic relationships or Afrocentric relationships. Fear of abandonment to rage and humiliation. Jealousy strikes, again, both men and women. And again, the threat is not just something on a sexual or so-called romantic or Afrocentric level, but it also can arise among siblings, people in groups and organizations, churches, mosques, temples, militaries, organizations, against leadership or other members. It can also be siblings competing for parental attention, and also friends. Jealousy is distinguished again from envy in that jealousy always involves a third party, seen as a rival for affection. So just understand the base of the possible differences in between jealousy and envy. Now, the threat, again, it may be real or perceived. Envy occurs between two people, and it's best summed up as, I want to have what you got. I want what you have. Although jealousy is painful, evolutionary psychologists regard it not as an emotion to be suppressed. Sometimes they say as one to heed, that it is a signal or wake-up call, and others, for the most part, refute that. Now let's deal with pathological jealousy. Pathological jealousy. Pathological jealousy is a psychological disorder. Most of you didn't know that. Pathological jealousy is a psychological disorder in which a person is preoccupied by jealousy of another person to an abnormal degree. Isn't that something? Pathological jealousy. Morbid jealousy, also known as Othello syndrome or delusional jealousy, is an example of the suspicious version of this disorder, when a person is preoccupied with the thought that their spouse or sexual partner is being unfaithful without having any real proof whatsoever, along with socially unacceptable or abnormal behavior related to these thoughts. The most common cited forms of this morbid jealousy are delusions and obsessions. Sometimes there's some stalking. It is considered a subtype of delusional disorder. So just giving you some empirical background on pathological jealousy so that you can really see exactly, for the most part, the science of it. Now, some of y'all are like, what the hell is pathological? So we always got to break things down for those of the people who may have questions on some things or may be trying to Google up. Well, let me get there and see what that's all about. Pathology. Pathology is, for the most part, the study and origins of diseases, and pathological, when dealing with a psychological dynamic, can, for the most part, mean that you got some type of psychological disease or disorder. I'm in the context of just briefly breaking that down for you and moving right along. So let's deal with this. The actual ailment tonight we're going to deal with is what I diagnose as a traumatic black obtrusive Negropean pathological jealousy disorder. A lot of words, write it down. The traumatic black obtrusive Negropean pathological jealousy disorder, also known as black internal self-hating jealousy disorder, also known as, which is a corollary of something we discussed, something I diagnosed back in January the 21st of 2016, which is known as the traumatic black obtrusive malignant narcissistic race traitor disorder. A lot of words. So y'all can go back in the archives of the broadcast and go get that. That was January the 21st, 2016. The traumatic black obtrusive malignant narcissistic race traitor disorder, which has 22 traits. And so I'm going to revisit that so that you can understand this corollary we're dealing with tonight, but this toxic jealousy and self-hatred we have. So let's get into that, understanding that first, because that's the base, as this is just a corollary of that base. So let's deal with that now. Understanding that just as the Oedipus complex, victims of such can see their goals or motives as their mother, as one who are the head or leader or standing in their way, they can also see as their father. The malignant narcissists would actually kill their parents. That's how horrible they are. They can see the same goals, handouts as the parents' gifts, or the person standing in their way as their parents, or their father, usually for the male. In our case, though, the slave master becomes the object of affection. And in that context, it is coined again as the traumatic black obtrusive malignant narcissistic disorder. And in essence, being one of the multifaceted corollaries of the traumatic black and Holocaust disorder. And in dealing with that, again, there are 22 traits. So let's deal with the 22 traits of the traumatic black obtrusive malignant narcissistic. So now some of y'all want to know what's the difference between the traumatic black obtrusive, the actual traumatic black African Holocaust disorder. You want to know the difference between that and post-traumatic slavery disorder. I'll break it down. Dr. Joy DeGruy couldn't do it any better. No one could do it better than her. Now, let's understand this. What makes the traumatic black African Holocaust disorder that I diagnose so deep and important is this fact, is that our condition is not just a PTSD. Our condition is ongoing, reoccurring, and some of it is being created right now while we're speaking, and it has corollaries. It has offshots of it. It's not just one thing. There's offshots of it. There's corollaries of it. And it is also transgenerational. According to the science of epigenetic, empirically speaking, it teaches us that victims of Holocaust have children who have children who have children who have children who also carry the same psychological issues as the very first one. Could be great-great-grandmother, great-great-great, don't matter, but it's transgenerational trauma. And we are victims of transgenerational trauma. And that's what makes the traumatic black African Holocaust disorder unique, because it's dealing with that, the transgenerational trauma and the corollaries or offshots we have, because it's not just one issue we have. We have the traumatic black African Holocaust disorder, but we have corollaries, offshots of it, different types of issues because of it. One of them is what I diagnose as the traumatic black obtrusive malignant narcissistic race traitor disorder, which has a total of 22 traits. I'll go into a few of them tonight. And again, because the one of its major corollaries, the traumatic black obtrusive Negro pathological jealousy disorder, that we'll be covering tonight, which is why I just want to briefly revisit that for you all. First trait of the traumatic black obtrusive malignant narcissistic race traitor disorder. Trait number 1, sell out the race, family, community group at any expense. Regardless if their position and argument is that they are for the race, they'll betray any group. And again, this was done January 21st, 2016. Okay. Number 1, you can go in the archives to get this. Go in the archives to get this. January the 1st, 2016. So we're talking about over a year ago. Over a year ago. Way over a year ago. We're getting into a year, and this is what, August now? This was done over 1 year, 8 months ago. So almost 2 years ago, this particular corollary was broken down. January 21st, 2016. Look in the archives there. Traumatic black obtrusive malignant narcissistic race traitor disorder. Number 1. Sell out the race, family, community, group, and at any expense. Regardless if their position and argument is that they are for the race, they'll betray any group, organization, institution, military, church, mosque, temple, family, parents, or anything related to the race for the affection, advancement, and gain of and from the enemy and their society, and will betray the entire group, leadership, leaders, organizations, church, mosque, temple, military, institution, and family at the drop of a dime. Number 2, will disrupt infiltrate, spy, disunite, debate, attack the race, groups, organizations, institutions, churches, mosques, temples, family, parents, all while claiming to actually be for it, will bring others into their clutches because they don't do it by themselves, and will betray everyone, the entire race, group, leadership, organization, church, mosque, temple, military, institution, and family. We're going on to number 3. And this is deep, so I'm not going to, unless you all want me to go through all 22 of those, you can visit that particular broadcast, January the 21st, 2016, the fullness on that. But number 3 has this grandiose way about them, and always ready to raise hostility levels, undermines organizations or groups in which they are involved in, and dehumanize the people whom they associate with or have associated with, and will betray, again, the entire race, group, leadership, organization, church, temple, military, institution, and the family. Number 4, has an inflated sense of their own importance, a deep need for admiration, and a lack of the empathy for others of their race, family, community, organizations, institutions, military, mosques, churches, temples, etc. But behind this mask of ultra confidence, you know them, lies a fragile self-esteem that's vulnerable to the slightest criticism, and even if it's constructive. And they will again betray the entire race, group, leadership, or organizations, militaries, mosques, or temples that they come in contact with in their infiltration of their own sense of importance. Number 5, has problems in many areas of life, such as relationships, work, school, or financial affairs, and commitment to Black groups, leaderships, Black churches, mosques, temples, and militaries. They have problems in those areas, and will betray, again, the entire group, will become paid agents, informants, or seek financial schemes, government payouts, handouts, all sorts of bourgeoisie desires at the betrayal of the entire group, the entire race, community, mosque, temple, or organization they're part of. They are generally unhappy and disappointed when they're not given special favors or admiration they believe they deserve. Others may not enjoy being around them because of how they are. It is always about them. Relationships with them is unfulfilling because it's all about them, not about the collective. No, I'm going to go to number 7 and then get to where we need to go to. I just wanted to touch up and brief up on this. 6, every single relationship with them is filled with betrayal. It is their MO. They are deceitful from the very beginning. The entire relationship is nothing but a series of betrayal, the good times and the bad times. Manipulation, lies, projections, luring to dangerous ends, or theatrical or dramatic breakups, and resignations, firing, discharging, arrest, and even murder at times is the drama that they put down. And they will always betray the entire race, group, leadership, organization, church, mosque, temple, military, institution, or family. 7, their level of betrayal shatters the sense of self and safety. If you carried out a belief that there was good in everyone, they traumatized you into thinking that that was flawed. And I know sometimes I'd be trying to hold back. I know some niggas in Milwaukee just like that. I don't think I said that, but let me move right along. Their levels of betrayal shatters the sense of self, trust, and safety. If you carried a belief that there were good in everyone, they traumatized you into thinking it was flawed. And again, this was done January the 21st, 2016. You can go in the archives and get the full information on this, because we deal with the curatives and preventatives. So it ain't just venting or telling you we got some problems. No, we deal with the solutions. In our next broadcast covering this, we will be dealing with the solutions for this issue tonight. And I'll just kick number 8. They're totally selfish and have no care for anyone except themselves. They come off charming and seem real, but it's a form of manipulation just for them to get something from you, with you, or out of you. They'll be ready to betray everything that comes in contact with them or has to do with you. And it doesn't matter if the betrayal has no limits. It can be to law enforcement, FBI, COINTELPRO, Garden Plot, illegal intelligence agencies, or anyone. It don't matter who it is. It's just how they are. And I'm feeling this. I'm going to go to 9 and 10. I promise you I'll move on. Will set you up regardless of the time you may face. They'll set you up regardless of the time you may face. Will never be loyal to their race or people regardless of the circumstances, and are usually able to persuade a few gullible people to go on with disunity, disruption, and breakdown campaigns and agent conspiracies with them. Though most of the time, they don't usually reveal themselves as operatives or agents, but they'll betray the entire everything at the drop of a dime. Last but not least, and I'm going to leave it alone, has an exaggerated sense of self-importance and will betray anyone and anything, including the entire race, expecting to be recognized as a superior even without the achievements to warrant it, and will create confusion amongst the people, pretending to be more than they are in an organization, in an institution, in a religion, in a family, in a church, mosque, temple, military, or group. And they'll betray everything and everyone. In order to be accepted by members of the race, they will amplify, even exaggerate their talents, their achievements, and will make constant references about their size, their ability, their egos, their emotions, and their outlook, when in essence they are the lowest people on this planet. The lowest people amongst us. So those are just a few of the actual traits of the dramatic black obtrusive Negropean malignant narcissistic disorder. You can go again into the archives, January 21st, 2016, and get the full dynamic of that. So tonight's corollary of the traumatic black African Holocaust disorder, and particularly the direct corollary of the traumatic black obtrusive malignant narcissistic Negropean disorder, is the traumatic black obtrusive Negropean pathological jealousy disorder, aka the black internal self-hating jealousy disorder. Moving right along. When we deal with it, because it's also related to the traumatic black obtrusive crab in a barrel disorder, which is just plain cut and simple in its actual diagnosis and breakdown, which would be after we deal with the curatives and preventatives of this particular thing. Moving right along. These people exhibit an unstoppable hatred, agenda, and marginalization for black people, or anything related to black people, no matter what group, ideology, or philosophy or organization they're part of, because the actual psychological condition that they have is obtrusive and so strong that no matter what they do, they just can't shake it. They can't shake it. And the problem with the traumatic black obtrusive Negropean pathological jealousy disorder being a psychological issue, a pathological issue where a black person or person of African descent is pathologically insecure, concerned, fears, and envies the status, position, post, or position, recognition, achievements, property, character, image, value, and power of friends, family members, spouses, children, community groups, organizations, churches, mosques, temple, militaries, etc., or prominent group members or leadership in particular, and in reference to a human comparator. Again, these people exhibit an unstoppable hatred, an agenda, and marginalization for black people, or anything related to black people, no matter who or what. However, no matter how hard the individual tries to possibly do well, their hatred is overwhelming because it's psychological. So let's deal with it now. The 20 or 22 traits? I'm trying to see exactly. Well, first and foremost, we're going to deal with one of the corollaries of it, which is we're going to deal with 7 traits of the traumatic black obtrusive self-hatred disorder. Trait number 1, they will never see anything or anyone black or anything related to black people as real. Never. The white man is real. His cereal is more real than your cereal. Their house is more real than your house. Their marriage, their family, their children, their genders, their structure, or even the lack thereof, is better than yours and realer than yours. They will never see anything or anyone black or anything related to black people as real, sufficient, or enough. They will always either intrinsically or internally challenge it. Don't accept or believe it. Because in their condition, it is not possible for black women to be chaste, meaning pure. Not chaste as in chased down, but chaste. meaning pure, loyal, or have fidelity. They say you can't trust her. And all she wants is your money or possessions. That's how they feel about women if they're black men. If they're black women, they feel it is not possible for a black man to be chaste or have fidelity. You can't trust him. You can't trust no nigga. All he wants is what's between your legs. He wants to use you, take advantage of you. If it is a black group, church, mosque, temple, community, organization, military, its members, especially its leadership or leaders, or of any group, they'll say, you can't trust them. To them, it is impossible for them to be real. They're not real. They fake. All they want is your money and to use you. You know how it goes. This is the sickness that we have. You'll have somebody that go to church every Sunday. And some of you here think like that and left the church for that reason. And that should never be the reason why. It should be the doctrinal differences you have and what you have learned if you leave there. And I'm not saying you got to leave there to serve your people if you understand the African origins of all of it. I'm just saying that if you left it for those reasons, it's hypocrisy. But they'll be in church, all these damn greedy pastors. They just, they keep the day, the week, they be traumatized. I don't think you're reading the books. You need to get the hell out of there in the first place. If that's the case, you shouldn't have been there. Because in a book, it says that, paraphrasing, if you labor, that the laborer, they say you don't muzzle the ox. It says that if you give, what they say, if you give those in the society power over you, like an example would be like you pay the water bill people, you pay the light bill people, say then the person that's supposed to be, dealing with your soul, why not do the same thing? That's what the book says. They ain't got nothing to do with anything else. Then the 10% tithe come from the Old Testament into the New Testament. So it is what it is. But I'm just saying, if you dare, don't be the hypocrite. You in the masjid, Ramadan comes by, and you're supposed to deal with zakat. And you're the last person trying to. You know the hypocrisy. So we do it in everything, even onto the relationship level. The man wants to be with you, or your friend to tell you that because he wants what's between your legs. The woman wants to be with you because she wants your money. She wants your power. She wants your time. God damn it, the organization that you in. Oh, they asking for dues? Oh, they just want to take your money. What's wrong with you sick people? Don't you understand that one of the main reasons why the enemy is successful is the fact that they make sure that they sustain what they have. God damn it, right now, if any no good bastard, if any no good cracker murdered, and I mean in blackface or whiteface or brownface or whatever goddamn face, meaning oppressor, the ones who's cracking us and holding us down. If any one of those bastards murdered one of us tonight, that all they would have to do is create a fund, could be a GoFundMe account, and they have $1 million tomorrow. $1 million tomorrow. But a black woman could be getting kicked out of her house, have 8 babies, nowhere to go, a crippled leg, in a wheelchair, and you wouldn't give her 50 cents because you feel she's trying to take something from you. That's a problem that we have, that our enemies do not have. But it's a part of our condition, and we got to get goddamn better. But moving right along, because I'm going to repeat number one more goddamn time so that you understand the issue of the 7 of the 20 traits of the traumatic black obtrusive self-hatred disorder. They will never, the person with this trait will never see anything or anyone black or anything related to black people as real, sufficient or enough. Will always either intrinsically or internally, family, intrinsically or internally, will always challenge it. Don't accept or believe it, because in their condition, it is not possible. Again, dealing on a relationship level. For a black woman to be really real, for her to be chaste, for her to be loyal, for her to have fidelity. You can't trust her. Sometimes we say you can't trust them hoes, bro. I done told you about that. You can't trust them, using all kind of negative words towards the sister. And all she wants is your money or your possessions. When it comes to the black man, same thing. Girl, he just want to sleep with you. He don't want nothing from you. Niggas ain't shit. Using all kind of words towards each other. Black men can't be chaste. They can't have fidelity. You can't trust no nigga. Those are the things that, and these are the traits. This is a part of the traits of people with this condition. But then when it comes to a group, When it comes to a church, a mosque, a temple, community, organization, military, its members, its leadership, you can't trust them. They ain't real. It's impossible for them to be real. They're fake. All they want is your time. All they want is your money. And if it's leaders, you can't trust them. He ain't no real pastor. He's not a real imam. He's no real Kohen. He ain't no real Kemetic priest. I don't even think he could read the metal nectar because you can't really read it. All kind of crazy stuff we say towards each other. All type of madness. We can't really be real. If you're in the Hebrews again, or if you're not in the Hebrew community, you'll say the black Hebrew, them niggas ain't no real Hebrews because the black Hebrew can't be real, right? We can't really be Hebrews. If you're in the church, them niggas ain't real Christian because the black Christian ain't real. We can't really be Christians, right? If you're in the mosque, the black Muslim ain't really real because we can't really be real, right? Only the white Arabs could, and the white so-called Jew, all of them, they real, but we not, right? If you're a revolutionary, we can't even be real revolutionaries. If we are doctors, we can't be real doctors. We can't be real lawyers. It's foolishness. Sick Negroes. In essence, they will form relationships with other people who aren't black because of that at times. They will form alliances, become informants, and all sorts of stuff. In essence, they'll form relationships with black people also, and there'll never be enough. We'll never be fully respected with each other. We will lie on each other, antagonize each other, disrespect and spit on each other. Some even call the slave master or the police on each other. It's a sad thing. Number two, will always blame and target black people, groups, or its leaders, and never deem them worthy, again, or real enough. Will even go as far as joining the black church, the mosques, the temples, the collectives, the leaderships, the militaries, become RBG. They'll become more. They'll become Hebrew. They'll become revolutionaries, even become Black Panthers, and find a way to insult and criticize black people, the churches, the mosques, the temples, the organizations, or the groups. They'll say things like, the problem is we letting the police do this to us. That's the problem. We letting them do this to us. We ain't got good leadership. We ain't got this and we ain't got that. Always down in us. And they'll soon find a way not just to down or undermine the group, but to do the same thing again to its leadership and create gossip, rumor, slander, character assassination, and propaganda against the group and its leadership, and even make statements like its leadership is traitors to the people or some kind of agents to the people, which is really the base and origins of what snitch jacket is. You can't snitch jacket no goddamn snitching informant. They do that to leadership and to groups. But this is because inherited in their condition and their issue is the disorder that creates the circumstances by their actions that makes them totally deny anything that has to do with black as something real or functional, moving right along. 3, they are not really with or for any black person, family, spouse, child, mosque, or anything, even if they join. They're not truly sincere. You'll see them jump from group to group and relationship to relationship, even if children are involved in those relationships, even if important jobs are involved in those groups, even if important work is involved in those groups, they'll do that. These people hide behind what I coin as a mask of reality. What is the mask of reality that I coin? A mask of reality is where you have a person. I'm going to use the church, for example. She go to church every Sunday. She got the big hat on. She got the clothes on down to her ankles. And then she'll see somebody on the side of the street and be like, look at that hussy. She going straight to hell. And next thing you know, she's screwing everybody in the church. That's the mask of reality. She looks like she's that when she talks, but she's the mask of reality. You have somebody who they wrap their hair up to the sky. They got on all the garb and everything. They the queen potentate of the Yanni eggs. And then you'll find out that they screwing everything in the Kemetic or the whatever conscious community they're in. That's the same thing, the mask of reality. You'll find someone, they got red, black, and green socks, Red, black, and green tattoos. Maybe even red, black, and green on their gold teeth. Red, black, and green drawers. Red, black, and green every goddamn thing. And then when you find out what's really going down, ain't nothing in them black. Ain't nothing in them red but their blood. But some of them is green as hell, as we say in the South. The whole time they say you a green ass nigga, excuse my language. But that's the context of it. But they have what I coined the mask of reality. They wear the mask, they wear it, but they're not really like that. They have an agenda with it. So moving right along, these people hide behind the mask of reality. Because they'll wear RBG, bow ties, and sell bean pies. They'll wear fezzes, 6-pointed stars, 5-pointed stars, and onks, and again the panther. And even talk the talk. They'll talk it. But the RBG, the bow ties, the fezzes, the 6-pointed stars, and the 5-pointed stars, and the onks is not in their heart. It's not in their mind. Their hatred is for us. They hide behind the mask. And they're no more than the cracker in RBG face, and bow tie, and fez, and 6-pointed star, 5-pointed star, and onk face. That's who they are. Number 4, will publicly criticize, even while still in a relationship with that black woman or black man, or black family, or group, or its members or leadership. They don't have any whim. They have the unintimidated gall to do this. And will do it on a whim is what I mean to say. They will say anything disparaging. It doesn't matter. They'll criticize anywhere. They will embarrass and discredit, defame and talk down, no matter in reality if the group or person is great, or spouse is great, or child is great. No matter what the situation is, this is their MO. To them, a black person and group is never enough, never fully complete. There's always something insufficient. Pan-Africanism or whatever, they don't care. Doesn't matter what they say they stand for. In essence, they're really against it. Moving right along, number 5, they will betray their spouse, their groups, their leaderships at the drop of a dime, and especially when they don't get their way or agenda, no matter how important the group or spouse is. It doesn't matter the importance, even if they're working on something important with the group, and they'll do it at the drop of a dime. Even if they, in essence, are building together. You got it where you have mothers in a relationship, she got 2, 3, 4 children, and she'll leave them with the daddy. Daddy's in a relationship, he got 4, 5, 8 children, and he'll just run out and don't care. Number 7, have no problem with being operatives, agents, informants, or even seizing the opportunity to be or act like one, because they have no real care or respect for the commitment to the community, to the family, to their spouse, to their church, their mosque, their temple, their collective, their groups, leaderships, or organizations. Those are the 7 traits of the traumatic black obtrusive self-hatred disorder. And again, we'll be dealing with the curatives and preventatives next actual broadcast, but we're just getting this over to you. Now, the base to answer tonight's topic, the origins of black people, toxic jealousy and hatred, this crab in a barrel mentality we have. How do we identify the traits? First and foremost, we dealt with some of the sources of it, but how do we identify the traits in dealing with this origins? So trait number 1 is 22 traits. Trait number 1, cannot function around the achievements of any black person. They can't function. Not around. Hell, you could be right there with them in class, and somehow they'd be like, hey, today, Babatunde just got blah, 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 blah. They'll smile wearing the mask of reality, because that's their mask at that time. But in essence, they are right there mad as hell. I can't stand that nigga. Oh, I can't stand that. Whatever kind of term they're using, and for the person they're around. They'll be in the same household and do that. Be your daddy and do that. Be your mother and do it. Some of the sickest parts of these corollaries is that parents do it. Black parents do it to black children. Tell their little black children, you ain't shit and you ain't never gonna be shit. Your daddy ain't shit and you ain't shit. Your mama ain't shit and you ain't shit. I ain't shit and you ain't shit. Horrible. But moving right along. Trait number 1 is dramatic black obtrusive Negropean pathological jealousy disorder. Number 1, cannot function around the achievements of any black person whatsoever, even if it is their spouse, even if it is their child, a friend or family member. And they will at times intentionally humiliate, embarrass, criticize, discredit name call or belittle the spouse publicly without any regard for the shame, hurt, pain, life, character, reputation, family, or feelings. Will always put them down, make them feel low as if their achievements are nothing. And when this is not done publicly, they'll do it privately, spreading lies, gossip, rumor, and slander about the spouse, child, friend, or family members to have others think of them in an ill or negative way. Deep. Likewise, cannot function around the achievements or success of any black group. The church, the mosque, the temple, organization, military, its members, especially its leaders or leadership of any black group. They will intentionally seek to humiliate, embarrass, criticize, discredit, name call, or belittle the black group, church, mosque, temple, community, organization, military, or its members or leadership, publicly and privately, without any regards for the shame, hurt, pain, life, character, family, or feelings. And they will always put them down and marginalize their achievements. Sometimes try to claim it as their own, as if their achievements are nothing, even when they know the achievements are best. Again, very sad, family. And when this is not done publicly again, they'll do it privately, spreading lies, gossip, rumor, character assassination, and slander about the group, that church, mosque, temple, community, organization, military, its members, especially its leaders or leadership, in order to have others in the movement or society feel ill of that group, its people, its leadership, or their spouse or their child. This is how they operate. Because with them, they always betray. Always will, regardless of the fact. Number 3, they have a parasitical and exploitative approach, no matter what or who it is, when it comes to black people or something black. The relationship between them and their children are parasitical. If it's a black mother and her daughter, listen carefully now, she will allow her daughter to go with older men, even if she's 12 or 13 years old. You know what I'm talking about. She will allow that to happen, exploit her youth, so that she can get some money or some gifts and do whatever she want to do. If it is a son, she would allow him at any age to make illegal gain, even if it's selling drugs or breaking into people's houses, and black men do the same thing, vice versa. Same exact thing with their children. And if it is a black group, church, temple, mosque, organization, or community, the relationship between them and the group is always parasitical and exploitative. They will target the group's women if they are men. Oh, yes, they will. They'll target the group's men if they're women. Let's talk about their yoni eggs. Oh, yes, they will. They will target the leadership for time, the spotlight, publicity, sex, energy, finances, and even willing to give their own finances or try to solicit their own bodies and self for sex and time, for recognition, control, or power, or to take over if none of this works. They will then sabotage at all expenses, even if it means embarrassing themselves. That's what they do. And because of this, they're very flawed in every aspect of their thinking. The entire reasons of the things that they do are always based on a plot from the beginning. Their patterns of lies, deceit, propaganda, character assassination, and setups are deep because they start from the beginning and you don't even know it because they got the mask of reality on. So it's been penetrating a long time. Because when they fail, they want to make sure their agenda is deep. And that's why they do it that way. You don't really understand what it is I'm talking about for some of you. And some of you know exactly what I'm talking about because it's right there in the house with you. He's right there in the bedroom. She's right there in the bedroom. You may be the mother doing that. You may be the father doing that. Or somebody's right in your group right now doing that to you. They're right in your church undermining you, pastor. They're raiding your mosque, undermining you, imam or student minister. They're raiding your Hebrew community, undermining you, Kohen, or whatever title that's used in your community. They're raiding your revolutionary group, undermining you, generals and chairmen and chairwomen. They're there with you, undermining you. Everything you do is never good enough for them. They're plotting from the beginning. There's no sincerity. They have an issue. It was people with this disorder that overthrew Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana. From the African dental context of our Holocaust disorder. What am I talking about? How do you have an African leader or revolutionary who beats the hell out of the best that the European colonialists produced? They overthrew the colonialists, the colonizers, and established Ghana. The man goes away and all of his military, all of his government, because of these issues and disorders. They're first of all exploited and manipulated because of it, but overthrow Kwame Nkrumah. Somebody asked the question, or asked the question, you trying to say all of them, the gift him? Yeah, his whole goddamn government. Kwame Nkrumah, one of the best revolutionaries we have. Patrice Lumumba. Let's go through the list and let's go through the line. All of our leaders suffer from that, and all of our groups and families are suffering in many ways from these things too. Most of our groups, and I won't say all, but most. The traumatic black obtrusive jealousy or jealous Negroes in Ghana overthrew Kwame Nkrumah. Again, his entire military, his government. And again, the question you ask is how? All of them. It's because the disorders are that deep. But understand this. I want you to understand this. To the operative, we see you. We know who you are. Your mouth got too much froth on the side. We know who you are. You bald in your 20s and early 30s. We know who you are. Your braids got too much space between the parts. We see who you are. And as we are able to gain revolutionary strength and power, we will murk you in self-defense for coming to betray the legitimate aspirations of our people. We see all of you butt-licking, butt-sucking, foot-licking, toe-sucking, hoof-and jig-dancing, cone and clown. I mean the agents and operatives now, not people with a disorder. People with a disorder need healing and cures. But to the goddamn agents and operatives, we see you butt-licking, butt-sucking bastards. You butt-licking, butt-sucking, hoofing, jig-dancing, cone and clowning, towel down, undercooked, under-roasted, emasculated, and questioned, effeminate, debilitated, green, saturated, concentrated, slack spine, bent over backwards niggas. We see you. And one day, family, when our nation rises up the way it needs to, we will deal with you. Cut your left foot off and leave your right foot on. Cut your right arm off and leave your left arm off. Leave it on. Cut your tongue out your mouth and cut off those fingers you use to make deals with the enemy against us, or be a keyboard killer, a text gangster, a cell phone goddamn killer. You know who I'm talking about. All of those who do that is who is in essence the ones I'm speaking of. Moving right along. Understand who they are. Moving right along. Number 4. They will make it their duty to do everything to either become the center of attention or attraction. If in a relationship, they will charm you into this. If a parent, they will make that black child feel that the parent is special and the best in the world, even if they're abusing them physically, sexually, or psychologically, that they're the best in the world so that they don't come against them. This broken down child and belittled child then has this allegiance because, of course, they're traumatized into that. And it becomes like a capture trauma bonding dynamic. And you can also visit that diagnosis of the traumatic black obtrusive capture bonding disorder we have with those who have held us hostage and captive, racially speaking, for a long time. But moving right along, when it comes to a spouse, they'll make it their duty. They'll make it the same. they'll make the spouse feel that they're the best. They're always right. They're special. And if it's the family, they do the same thing, because that broken down and belittled spouse, they don't want to become an enemy or to join with one. They want them to go along with their agendas. And in essence, even if they broke their jaws or they actually knocked teeth out of their mouths or disfigured them, they do all of this while at the same time behind the spouse's back or their children's back, whoever they're targeting, they create gossip, rumors, and lies and character assassination against them. So if they ever left, at the end of it all, people will think they're the problem and not that the real abuser and the real problem is the problem. Moving right along, when it comes to a group, they overreach. You know, they put the mask on, mask of reality. They're fake yes men. You need this, you need that. They overextend their reach. They're fake yes women. They're usually the ones you think are the most dedicated. But you don't understand it's a plot. They make sure they're there all the time to be seen, all the time to be heard. They're this way, they're that way. So when they do make the move that they make, you actually think that there's some legitimate person, while behind the leaders and groups back, and sometimes it's a collective or like-minded dynamic because they've been doing things for so long, calling people, gossip, rumor, lies, character assassination, to make sure that it's a group effort. And that's really how they become very destructive in many of our groups, and why COINTELPRO was so deep. What am I talking about? The things that they do. When it comes to the group, again, they do those overreaching things. And this is what they do. They will come with many things against the group or its leadership. They will use immoral accusations if they are attacking a female leader. Some of you female leaders out there know what I'm talking about. If they're attacking you, you have to be perceived in that attack as a feminist, as if you don't like men, or some abuser or hater of men. Unstable or unfit, they always say. And if it's or unstable or so-called unfit to lead men, they say. Well, who's really the sexist? And you have to be viewed as a crook and a violent woman. Those you who are women in leadership, you know what I'm talking about. If the leader's a male, they attack him so that he could be perceived as a whoremonger or a womanizer, a female abuser, savvy, immoral, or he has to be viewed as some crook or violent man. When the enemy hires these type of people to impose these false narratives, it is done to shun the people away from the leadership or joining. What am I talking about? Marcus Garvey, Honorable Marcus Garvey, was accused of being a womanizer, an abuser of women, abuse of women, because he was married to his first wife, Amy Ashwood Garvey, and allegedly cheated on her or slept with their so-called as they would want to call him, I'm going to say a so-called womanizer, because I think I said womanizer. But he allegedly cheated with the roommate, with the bridesmaid at their wedding, who is Amy Jakes Garvey. He did eventually marry her. But Garvey, of course, married both women. But they want to create a narrative as if he was on something else, because that's the way they do our people and do leadership. He was not immoral. They were his wives. But it was to make Garvey appear immoral and as a misuser and abuser of women. Garvey was also accused of being psychologically unfit to lead, and was made to appear like a crook. And he went to jail for that falsified madness. They made it appear that he was stealing money and defrauding people with the Black Star Line. And he was arrested and deported for that. Then they later come out and said it was a lie, because it was a lie. It was COINTELPRO and envious, jealous Negroes. Noble Drew Ali, Islam to the Moorish family out there, who some call Prophet Noble Drew Ali, was made to appear immoral because he had more than one wife, and one of his closest members were killed, allegedly. It was just an allegation, but they created the narrative for sleeping with one of his wives. And this also goes with the allegation of why Noble Drew Ali was arrested and beaten by the police and all of that stuff that went down, that some may not even know that history. But the whole point was it all was a lie. And they also said that he was a crook creating fake herbs and oats to heal people, and he really wasn't, they said. But it was a lie. COINTELPRO, envious and jealous niggas. The Honorable Dr. Huey P. Newton, with Honorable Elijah Muhammad, was accused of being a womanizer and abuser because he not only had Claire Muhammad as his wife, but he had several other women in the nation. And I said women. They weren't little girls. They were women, mostly in their 20s. You know, they're younger than him. He's an elder, but they were adults. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was also accused of mishandling money and all kind of stuff, which were all lies, and that he was unfit to lead because of his age, when none of the allegations were true. But again, it was all COINTELPRO, envious, jealous lies, and jealous Negroes. The Honorable Dr. Huey P. Newton was accused of being a womanizer and accused of beating and torturing women, and also accused of selling drugs and being psychologically unfit to lead. And as a violent man, accused of stealing money, and eventually went to jail for the accusation, none of which were true. But again, all of the lies were COINTELPRO, involving the enemy, envious and jealous Negroes. Moving right along, family. Number 5, will make it their efforts to learn people, faces, and areas in order to have the perfect environment to sabotage if their plans don't go as followed. Number 6, are predatory in their predatory agenda to try to find and prey on any weaknesses in the black group, church, mosque, temple, organization, or what it is they're affiliated with. And once found, they target it, attack it, and find a way to use their madness against it. Number 7, always target what makes the spouse, black child, or black group admired in order to publicly attack and defame it, to undermine it, to belittle the achievements, or to attack it and break it down. For example, if it is a spouse, and let's say the spouse is beautiful, they always tell them they're ugly. No one else wants you. You ain't nothing. And find fake flaws and exacerbate them to tear them down. If it's a child, they'll directly belittle them, call them ugly, dumb, you ain't nothing, especially if the parent is no longer with the other parent. They will not only belittle the child, but the other parent too, and create a negative perception of that parent. And if it's a group, they always will undermine it, steal its ideology, its platform. If it's the leader, for example, they'll say, general this or general what, what you a general of? If it's a pastor, you ain't no pastor. What you a pastor of? It's a doctor. What you is? What you got? Show me this. Show me that. Where your credentials at? Where all kind of crazy stuff. But it's kind of ironic. The same Negroes that go to the hospital and to the clinic, and they don't ask one cracker to show them nothing. But that's to let you know the level of thinking we have as a people, and what also happens to those who have the disorder. They have all kind of confusion, black color jealousies and confusion, with an intrinsic hatred for black people overall. And I'm gonna break this down right quick. A lot of times, lighter skinned and darker skinned black people have serious color issues. Some lighter skinned blacks or darker skinned blacks, some lighter skinned blacks with this condition will seek to go with darker skinned blacks because of their jealousies of other lighter skinned blacks. Now, sometimes if they're raised otherwise, then of course they're only going to do the light skin thing to keep it light. But what they'll do is they will go with darker skinned blacks because of their jealousy for other lighter skinned blacks. And when they do this, it's still an issue because it's a mask of reality. They'll start attacking the dark skinned brother or sister they were. Your nose too big, your lips too big, you too dark, perm your hair, do this and do that. So it's still a mask of reality, and they still have this condition no matter what you see in the relationship, no matter what you see on the outside. This is what they have. You have to give me a second. I need to make sure one of these lives are good. I'll turn this upside down or right side up, either way. Can it be like that? Y'all have to forgive me. I'm just trying to make an adjustment. Okay, hopefully. I don't know what the heck. I messed it up, but I'm just trying to make sure y'all can see and that this is where it needs to be. Let me try to put this here. Y'all just give me 1 second while I make a quick adjustment. Y'all hear that? Hopefully this works. Okay, good. Hopefully. All right, moving right along. Their personal agenda with this condition. Oh, goodness. It's out. Let me try this. Man. Okay. We good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. The person with this agenda, this condition. Now I got to adjust this one. Okay, good. Greatness. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, the person with this.
Let me fix it.
Oh, it's sideways?
Fix it.
I thought it could be sideways. It can't be sideways?
Yeah. No, I don't think it.
Okay, so we're going to try to see if it's going to stay. Because it will die soon. All right, you can put it down. Let's see if it works.
Okay.
Well, let's see. Go ahead. Okay, very good. But anyways, getting back to it. A person with this condition has an intrinsic hatred for black people and blackness and anything associated with it. And they'll join the Nation of Islam and find a way to actually target the doctrine or discredit black people. For example, they'll understand the doctrine and the doctrine on whites, and they'll say, well, you know what? If it had not been for that nigga Yakub, they wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for Shabazz, my hair would be straight. All kind of crazy stuff. They'll join the black Hebrews and find a way to discredit that. They are the ones who can't wait to join the black Hebrews and say, funky Afrikans. They can't wait. They'll join the Moorish Science Temple and can't wait to tell you, I don't see black, it's government properties and all this. They can't wait to say that. They're the ones, they don't join for the right reasons because they have issues. They have conditions. They'll become Rastafari and look for the whitest woman they can find to take back to Ethiopian Shashamani land with them. They'll skip over every sister in the Rastafari community to carry a dreadlock white girl back to Ethiopia with them. And you know who I'm talking about and what I'm talking about. Number 9. Will always tear down anyone in their path to get their agenda. And sometimes are part and parcel in a collective move by co-creating environments and coups for betrayal. All done while smiling, wearing again the mask of reality. In the leadership group, church, mosque, temple organization, or military, or spouse, or family, or friends face, and creating a toxic environment behind their backs, laced in lies, gossip, rumor, character assassination, and deceit, and a crab in a barrel mentality, and a collective traitorous environment. They'll tear them down and bring them down. It's a sad thing. 10. These people will never fully ever accept the authenticity of anything black or related to black. To them, it's all fake. The black ain't real. There's nothing real about black. Black relationships ain't real. Black marriages ain't nothing. That's how they think. And in truth, only whites are real to them. No matter how much they are wearing the mask of reality to appear to be for black people, to appear to be RBG, to appear to be a black Muslim, black Hebrew, revolutionary, or Black Panther, anything, their hatred intrinsically against all that they appear to be for. And they're using it to their advantage. Also due to the fact that they're not accepted by whites. That's another thing. They're also jealous of white folks for not being white. So some of them became pro-black because they dislike white people because they're not white. And those are the worst people to have anywhere, that they actually are pro-black and revolutionaries because they're jealous of white folks. That ain't no way to go at all. Because you get a messed up person like that. And in essence, they still are crackers in blackface themselves. Number 10. They will accuse black people, the groups, the mosques, their spouses, their families, anybody. They will make the accusations, accuse them of any issue or problem that others may project at the race or throw at the race. And they'll overlook the titles, positions, and time given to them. 11. Even though they cannot be in a rank or position, they'll always unnecessarily and vehemently challenge and insult it, regardless if it's a group or what the person. 12. Fake, made up, fabricated, or secret things they do against the group or the people. It could be text messages, emails, recordings against the black child, black group, spouse, church, mosque, temple for their own sabotage agendas. 13, interrogations, phone calls, including so-called accidental phone calls and forms of harassment when they are no longer in the inner circle or around. 14, collectively calling people or speaking to people in groups, creating lies, gossip, slander, character assassination to its members about each other, about the group, the mosque, the temple, or if it's a family, about the other family member, about the spouse, about the child, in order to carry out their sabotage agenda. 15, they will use public forums like social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, to exacerbate the attacks and to disseminate gossip, rumor, character assassination against the group, the child, the family, leadership, regardless of what it is, which is no more than a tool of modern day COINTELPRO anyways. Number 16, always trying to impose themselves where the targeted person is, especially the leader, in order to be in a position to levy their final agenda and attacks when ready and aimed at the group or whoever it is. And if they are not successful, they'll always be ready to sabotage from that position. 17, claiming that another black person, church, mosque, temple, group, organization, or leader are agents, while of course the only true agent is themselves, as a base for snitch jacketing, but claiming that the black groups are agents or doing some fallacious thing in order to make themselves seem relevant. We're at 18 now. Very disrespectful with epithets, dry or lame threats, and really disgusting comments and lies and behavior that is uncouth towards the group, the family member, the child, the mosque, the temple, which leaderships, its spouses, etc., etc. Next trait, deliberately, falsely attacking the group with artificial premises. 21, denying that they even have the disorders that they have. And of course, threatening to harm others and carry out, mentioning threats that they know they can't carry it out. Some of them due to people who may be around them and are weaker and vulnerable, if it's the case of a spouse or a child or something like that. Next trait, they have no actual want or desire to do better. Not at all. But are always seeking to get over and to be over on other black groups, people, person, mosques, families, friends, temples, leadership, children, spouses that they come in contact with at the expense of everything, no matter what. So these are the traits of the traumatic black obtrusive. One more time, these are the traits of we dealt with the traits of the traumatic black obtrusive self-hatred disorder. Get that if you're writing things down. That was number 1. And these are the traits of the traumatic black obtrusive Negropean pathological jealousy disorder. So that's where we are now. For those of you who call in, who actually called in, I'm gonna if you have any questions you want to ask, or if you want to quickly call in to ask questions, let me give y'all that number. So for those of you who are here in live Facebook land, I'm going to give you the actual number to call in if you want to call in, if you have any questions or statements that you would like to make at this particular time. Those of you who are listening live, you can call area code 425-569-5164. That is area code 425-569-5164. Area code 425-569-5164. Area code 425-569-5164. One last time. Area code 425-569-5164. If you have any questions or statements that you would actually like to make tonight. And for those of you who have called in, please press 1. And your questions will be answered. If you have any questions or statements you'd like to make, if you are in queue, again, please press 1. If you've called in to listen in one last time and you have a statement you would like to make, please press 1. And do understand that your questions will be respected and your statements will be respected. But I do ask that you are also respectful as well. For those of you who listen tonight, we do appreciate you listening, and we do appreciate you being as attentive as you were at the top of the hour. when we were getting things started. It's very important that we understand that as a people, what we are suffering from. People always try to say things about us. Well, how come everybody else can go through something? And then white folks in particular like to say, well, you know, everybody's been through slavery. Everybody's been through something. But everybody ain't been through what we've been through. Everyone hasn't gone through what we've gone through. Don't try to make it easy and simple what we went through. We went through and are continuously going through in Holocaust. You can't erase what we've went through, and you can't erase what we are going through. No other people in history, our story, your story, the black story. This is not a myth. This is not venting. This is not pretending. This is a fact. No other people, tell me one, has ever lost everything that constitutes who they are. Was ever traumatically beaten. Do you understand that we were traumatically and obtrusively beaten into being Jacksons, Jenkins, Smiths, Hernandez, and all the other names we got in the African persuasion and the African diaspora? We were traumatically and obtrusively beaten into that. Okay? Johnson, Jackson, Smith, Williams, all of that. And robbed of who we were. And given an identity that was not our identity. We were made into crackers and blackface and Negropeans, obtrusively, robbed of who we were. And for those of you who understand another dynamic of our story, dealing with autochthonous black people who were around, deal with the same issue. Robbed still of who we are, regardless of where we came from and where we were. We were robbed. And no other people experienced that. So here you got us walking around as Williams, Jackson, Smith, and Johnson. And the Williams, Jackson, Smith, and Johnson slave masters raped our great-great-grandmothers and all our great-grandmothers and great-grandfathers and ancestors. And we are living with the names of the rapists. And we have transgenerational trauma because of the rape and abuse. You tell me one person, just one, that is experiencing that or is a victim of that today. Tell me one. You can't find any. So don't marginalize what we have gone through, what we will go through. Not dealing with this punk Trump, oh ugly toupee wearing bastard, talking to the police about how they need to be rougher with us. Let me explain something to you. We are victims of genocide carried out by agents of the state known as law enforcement. Every 28 hours, a person of African descent in this country is a victim by agents of the state known as law enforcement. I said every 28 hours, we are victims of genocide because of our race and because of who we are. And this ugly, no good bastard has the unintimidated gall to go and speak before radical police terrorists, because the ones who clapped had to be that. Radical police extremists by genocidal maniacs, and actually make a statement that they should be more abusive towards us. That is a statement condoning genocide. And to William Bay or to the Moorish brothers who are actually in Q, when you say African descent, don't show me that document from the Dred Scott case. I don't want to see it. Don't show it to me, because the case was a little bit deeper than that. Judge Taney's major statement was the fact that if we were given rights, we would have rights to bear arms, and we would have right to travel and have free movement. So don't show me that. I don't want to see that. And this is a problem we have. If you believe in nationalism and sovereignty, do that. And if you're saying that from a respectful way, I'll say to you, and Islam to you as well. But if you're not saying that, then I don't have time for that, because I don't have time for debates. But if you're saying it respectfully, it's good. Let me explain something to you and to the listening audience. This is how we end this whole debate. Number one, according to international law and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, you don't have to pay for sovereignty. You don't have to worry about nobody's constitution, and you don't have to worry about their domestic laws. According to international law and the International Declaration of Human Rights, every human being has a right. Well, thank you, brother, and peace and black power. And I apologize. It's just the fact that a lot of times our people don't understand. And I'm gonna continue to say what I was gonna say, not to you, but just to teach and love and respect, brother. And I apologize if indeed, absolutely. And what I was saying, though, according to international law, you can define yourself by any name you choose. If you wanted to define yourself as a roach, according to international law, you can do so. And any nation state that comes in contact with you would have to respect the fact that you define yourself as a roach, and you are of a roach nationality, and you are of a roach nation state if you name your nation state that, because that's the international law. So we do understand and respect the fact that we do have a Moorish history. We do. We have an African history. We have, if you want to talk of where you believe it's a myth or whatever, because there's Hebrew brothers and sisters who don't, and we got to respect everybody and respect each other, and we can find empirical data to prove so that we are the original people that we're called Hebrews, even if you feel they don't exist. We are the original people of Kemet. We are the original people of all world scriptures. That's us. We are the indigenous and autochthonous people of the Americas, of Mesoamerica. We are the Tainos, the actual, what do you call it? We are the Cimarrones. We are the people who built global civilization. That's us. We're everybody that you can imagine. If you go in the Onoma Leash, or you get into Akkadian documentation, we're all of those people. You go into East India. I know people got all this stuff that I'm not getting into debate or rhetoric about who East Indians are. They are CCR 5 Delta 32 positive, SLC 2 for A5 gene sufficient. So they're melanated people, and we can say black people. And in essence, knowing our sovereignty and things of that nature, there's so many different things we could approach. I see what Brother Bay is writing, and we understand exactly all of that. We understand what the birth certificate and social security card represent. We understand that. I am first and foremost a revolutionary, a Pan-African, Black nationalist, liberation, freedom fighter. That's what I am first and foremost. Secondly, I'm also a Moor. Okay, Ali Bey. My nationality and sovereignty is deep on that level, but also let's deal with this issue. We've declared the permanent government of the Republic of New Africa, straight up. And we've done this according to international law, and dealing with the fact that I'm not going to say too much because we online right now, but you can't be a sovereign or a national of anything if you can't protect and defend that. And that's an issue that our queen, Corinne Gaines, had. She got pulled over by the police. She told them all that stuff, how much of a sovereign she was, what her status was. And they snatched out the car and beat the baby out of her womb, and eventually came to her house and assassinated her. And the Negro there with her jumped out the window, the same one who taught her about the status and all the other stuff. He jumped out the window, and the little baby got shot. So the point is, in dealing with this whole thing, is that we have to understand no matter what we're standing on, whether we're on the bullhorn, talking, read on, or, or we popping our ounce off our chest, or pumping the panther off our bodies, or whatever it is, that if we don't have the ability to protect and defend that, then it don't mean shit. Excuse my language. It's just like the church, that it won't, not all churches, but I'm saying the church that we complain about in our disorders. And some of it sometimes is really that if it's not doing anything in the community, it'll be like that mentality where we just talk about going to heaven and the pie in the sky. But when we go out of doors, we can get robbed, raped, killed, beat up, and all the other stuff. And it becomes that. So the Moorish Science Temple becomes our new church. The Black Hebrew community becomes our new church. The Kemetic community becomes our new church. The goddamn Panther Party becomes our new church, because all we're doing is talking, and we're not doing anything to protect and preserve and defend the people. This is why our military mission, the Revolutionary Black Panther Party, is to feed, clothe, shelter, train, and defend our people. We stand on each of those criteria. In order to be a fully operational chapter, you must fulfill each and every one of those. But again, for all of our people, it is important that we understand we got to stand on something strong. All of that is good. Moorish science is great and beautiful. All of it is great. Hebrew community is strong and powerful. We need that. Strong Black liberation theological churches are good. Don't knock that. Don't knock the shrine of the Black Madonna. Don't knock the shrine of the Black Messiah. Don't knock that. All our Kemetic communities are good. All of our Pan-African community and our spiritual community, Ifa, Voodoo, Nakan, all of the systems that we identify with are great. But if we are not in a position to protect and defend those systems, then they're great and good for nothing. We must always be willing to do that. If we got a family And if we're not able to protect and preserve that family, then it's good for nothing to have a family. It's good for nothing. That's why I raised my babies on Tuta Kinga, which is a system that I developed to deal with the actual. If you want to look up that system, you can check out some of the trainings that we do for the community and collectively, so that the people are strong and it's free to the community. Don't charge anything. And it's important that we understand that. But again, like I said, if you have any questions or statements, I'm giving an opportunity to those of you who are actually live online and in the timeline. You can call area code 425-292. I'm sorry, area code 425-569-5164. That's 425-569-5164 if you have any questions or statements, because what I will be doing momentarily is, of course, wrapping things up for the evening momentarily. So I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to express themselves. And if you are already in queue, I'm telling you to press 1. Don't be scared. You ain't scared, are you? I'm just joking. But anybody who wants to express themselves, go ahead, and much respect and love to you, Brother William Bay. Appreciate you, and appreciate all the family who are present. At this particular time, I'm going to, again, make that announcement. So if you have a statement or question, go ahead. In essence, it's important that we do express ourselves. Revolutionary Black Panther Party radio broadcast, National Political Education, is every week, every Thursday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We had a special one today, so we started 10:30, but we're going to keep the regular platform that we have and that we had tonight, but it'll be 9:30 Eastern every week. Coming up next weekend, we'll be in Flint, Michigan, doing a human rights tribunal there, and also armed activity, typical Revolutionary Black Panther Party fashion and pattern. Again, if you have a question or statement, please come on in, and please do so at this particular time. What I like to say to all of you is I thank you for listening and being as attentive as you have been. For those of you who are here, if you are interested in joining the Revolutionary Black Panther Party, you can actually reach us on any type of social media page you see that we have, our HQ page, and the other pages we have. Wilmington page is a good page, or you can email us at rbppnationalhq@gmail.com. That's rbppnationalhq@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.therevolutionaryblackpantherparty.org. That's www.therevolutionaryblackpantherparty.org. You can email us there as well. And if you are interested in listening to other broadcasts and diagnoses that have actually been provided for the people, because they deal with not just talking about the issues we have, but also providing the curatives and preventatives for the issues, you can go in the archives at www.blogtalkradio.com/Revolutionary Black Panther Party. That's www.blogtalkradio.com/Revolutionary Black Panther Party. So one more time, if you have any questions or statements, you can do so at this time. And Queen, what would you like to say to the people? Because you've been quiet, and y'all don't be fooled by her, because she's not quiet.
I've been listening. I have to sit back and take notes myself, because it's a lesson in everything that we hear. And
stop sitting up there. I know I'm sure you made me look even shorter. Stop sitting up. Now go ahead and talk.
It's a lesson in everything that we hear. It's like you said, it's a lot of things that we deal with, especially with people creating lies and rumors. We all done dealt with that, in school, with family, at work, any area of life that we deal with. We always have people that always try to sabotage and create chaos in our lives. So what was stated and what was talked about tonight was very important, and it's very important for us to realize these things so we can take action and eliminate certain actions like that from happening in our lives, in our groups, religions, spirit system, whatever the case may be. It was very powerful, and tonight I think a lot of people appreciated what you spoke about tonight, and I really hope that next time we get more people to come back and to join. Don't be afraid to speak out and teach people who we are, and it's very important that we let our people know and let them understand help them understand that if we don't, if we don't teach our people, then who will? Mm-hmm. And so if we don't do it, then who will? We can't depend on the government. We can't depend on the school systems. We can't depend on our own families sometimes, because our families are, sometimes are the main ones that, just shut us out. They become hypocrites, judge us, and, just don't support us at all. So we need each other. We need unity. We need support with each other. Don't be afraid to speak out and speak up. Don't be afraid to be a part of the revolution. Don't be afraid to want change and want better for our future and for our children, because our children are the ones that's going to be dealing with this in the future. So if we don't show them and teach them the dangers and how we have to protect ourselves because of the color of our skin, we have to let them know what's coming, because a lot of our kids, even, what was his name? The little boy in Ohio, they got shot.
Tamir Rice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Little boy was playing in the park with his gun, and police drove by and just shot him, cold blood. Little boy. I mean, if that can happen to him, they can be any one of our babies. So we have to let them know what's going on. We have to educate them. So I really appreciate the time that you spent to teach and to express and to let people know, the truth and origins and certain things that matter, because it does matter. So I really hope everybody appreciated it tonight as well. And I hope we get some callers to call in to ask any questions that they need to ask.
Yeah, something good. That was very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. A very, very good breakdown. I'm getting ready to open the line up to a caller calling on the area code 91. They disappeared.
Don't be scared.
Oh, there they go. 916. Last 4 digits 8926. Black Power, you on, caller? Black Power. Caller, cut down your background so I can hear you. Okay, yeah. Do me a favor and cut down the broadcast in your background so you can hear. So I can hear you, because it's feedback. And you could go ahead, good brother. What were you saying, good brother?
I was saying black love to you, black power to the family. It's my first time calling in, and this is my first time hearing you. I should say one of our brothers, Brother Abdullah, gave me the heads up.
You got cut out one time. I heard up into the good brother Abdullah. So you have to one more time. You said Brother Abdullah. Go ahead. I'll start from there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me back up from this, because I was watching you on this little iPad, and I'll probably be too close to it. So let me back up from there. Brother Abdullah, he gave me heads up and I keyed in, so I didn't catch your name. That's what I was saying.
Oh, Dr. Alli Muhammad, the Chief General Commander of the Revolutionary Black Panther Party.
Okay, brother. Yeah, I enjoyed everything you were saying. My brother. I'm old school. Basically, as you was going down points. A lot of that stuff, us old schoolers, we see that up, in states, up personal, all this stuff that you was talking about, with the stuff that different organizations deal with, the stuff that the sisters and the brothers deal with, as far as being in leaders' position. I really digged all that, because, like I say, to be an old school, talking about the Panthers and other organizations, we've seen a lot of that stuff, a lot of these younger people, they seen it at the end when, it was being exposed with the cartel and whatnot. But like I said, I caught you. I didn't catch you at the beginning. I was wondering, since you was going down those points, and those were beautiful points that you were making, did you, or have you in the past talked about this, how they want to throw up this black on black stuff in the community and deal with that? Because we have so many of our own people buying into that. This black on black crime, we kill each other more than anybody else. each other with. We can't catch up. Ain't no way we can catch up.
Right. I agree.
What happened? On that?
Absolutely. And now that you brought it up, I'll touch on it, based on, I leave it. This is how I do it. I touch up on it, but I'm going to leave it as your independent, unique question because it's a very powerful question. And it's something you would like me to elaborate on, correct?
Correct.
Okay, very good. First and foremost, when they start this foolishness, the enemy also comes up with this statistic that they always like to kick statistics. Well, black on black crime, 90% of the crime, the violent crime in the black communities are the black people. But in the same goddamn statistic, 90% of the crime in the white community is by white people, the violent crime in the white community. And their crime is a little bit more violent. Their crime is like the husband come home and stab the wife in the head and then stab the children in the throat with the damn screwdriver or something. Their crimes are totally different than our violent crimes. Our violent crime, not making any excuses. It's usually like crimes of poverty, crimes, somebody selling drugs on the corner and they shoot the other person on the corner. Just stuff like that. Selling drugs in the first place because trying to so-called make a living in that particular kind of context. But getting back to the point though, and dealing with the whole particular thing, we can never be our worst enemy. Makes no sense. And we can never catch up with our enemy. We've lost hundreds of millions of African people of African descent in our Holocaust. We lost on record, according to UNESCO's record, 100 million Africans in the Middle Passage. And we lost over 250 million in that dynamic alone. So the extermination rate and the things they do to us, we could never catch up with that. But then we got to talk about why we even do that. I did cover some dynamics of it earlier, my brother, but I will revisit it. What we have to understand is that we didn't come here killing each other. When you study our stuff, I'm not making no excuses either, because somebody gonna go and, well, what about this tribe and that tribe? You know how they do.
Already in slavery.
Yeah, we was just slave and all this other stuff they try to do. We like
to. It was corrupted.
Right. Always skip over the white man, because the reason why we do that is because to face the reality means we got to take action and be proactive, and people don't want to do that. So it's easy to criticize us than it is to do something for us. But I go black to it. So here's the thing. We got African nation states invaded, thrown in the hells and holes of ships, mothers, fathers, children's, babies, etc., put on plantations. But before even getting to the plantation, take a black man, take a black woman off of those ships. Most of the time, the black woman was raped by the enemy. So she would be pregnant, full of life that he raped in her womb. Take her and hang her upside down. Take the black man, hang him upside down. Slice her stomach open and take their mutant hands inside the womb and snatch the baby out, the baby again that he raped into the womb, and crush the baby's head with their boot heel or a rifle butt or some rough object, and emasculate the black man, blood pouring over his face and his body, making mud puddles. And any African who came off the ship or was already off the ship saw that sight and ooh and awed and showed sympathy and empathy for the African being traumatically tortured, would be beaten and shot and harmed. Take the black man, take the African woman, tie ropes to the arms and legs, take those ropes and tie it to horses or oxen or large animals, then beat, shoot, or scare them and have them run in opposite directions. And if the black woman was pregnant, which was most of the time, because they did this for a reason. See, they took the largest black man because it's a psychology behind their madness. The point is that if our largest and biggest can't protect and defend themselves, and the woman who's pregnant, if our most vulnerable, can't protect themselves, then we don't have a goddamn chance with the psychology they were setting up. So rip him open, rip her open, and with the baby, if she was pregnant, the baby there just sitting there, and then a large animal coming to crush her, or they in essence would take their rifle butts or have a boot party, which is the origins of where they get that term and curve stumping from, what they used to do to the skulls of black babies. And any African who would cry about that, make sounds and noises and oh my goodness about that, and whatever tongue or dialect they would say that in, will be beaten, shot, and killed. And for those who lived, they would say, you saw what happened to that nigger over there. Now you come over here, Babatunde. You're no longer Babatunde. You're Billy now. You come over here, gal. Say your name is Nzinger. You're no longer Nzinger. Your ass is Sally now. Talk like this, Sally. Talk like this, Billy. Think like this, Billy. Do like that, Billy. Do like that, Sally. Making us into them. The cracker or cracker in blackface or the Negropean. This is the science of that. So now you give Billy a gun and Billy's going to kill the other Billy around the block. You give Sally a gun or you give her something, you're going to harm the other Sally around the block. We are harming each other and killing each other, not as Africans, not in our right mind. We've been traumatized out of who we are. We were thoroughly robbed of our identity, thoroughly robbed of our character, thoroughly robbed of our tradition, thoroughly robbed of our nature, our folkways, our mores, and our norms, and overall knowledge of self, which is a power in mastery of our own being. So when we're out there in Chicago, when we're out there in Milwaukee, I know sometimes I pick on Milwaukee, but I still love y'all. Just get it together. When we're out there in Little Rock, when we're out there in Miami, out there in Dallas and Houston and LA and other places where we're killing each other wholesale, you're not looking at Babatunde doing that. You're not looking at Omawale doing that. You're not looking at Oluwale doing that. You're not looking at Sister Nzinga doing that. You're not looking at any African warrior queens doing that, or African-oriented sisters doing that. You're looking at a black man and black woman under the effects of trauma, under the effects of the traumatic black obtrusive Holocaust disorder. You're looking at Holocaust victims with transgenerational trauma now acting it out on each other. And as we always know in psychology and trauma, victims of trauma, victims of Holocaust produce babies who produce babies who produce babies who are victims, but victims also carry out their abuse on other people. So that's where that comes from. And none of us, you don't have any stories in our history or our story, the black story, where we've done that. And I'm not trying to be religious with it or play with it. I'm talking about empirically speaking. I want one scholar. I want one anthropologist. I want one scholar to show me anywhere before the coming of the Indo-European where we were killing each other. We had a golden age, and some brother says, look at Farrakhan, he killed Malcolm X and he admitted in front of his daughter. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and we're going to stop that propaganda now, didn't have the power or ability. He was a little minister in Boston. He didn't have the power to do nothing at that particular time. That is FBI COINTELPRO propaganda. Who murdered El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz Baba Omawale was the CIA, the FBI, the Department of Defense, the U.S. military, and global white intelligence. What Malcolm did in the United Nations, what other African heads of state there, caused those Africans to speak out against them colonialist crackers in the UN. Like they were about to fight with them there. So the global white Eurocentric infrastructure, some of y'all that say that stuff be into some other things. So you be like, it's Illuminati. So goddamn it, if you know what the Illuminati is, and I ain't talking about no games and no spookism. I'm talking about elitist, globalist crackers who are behind the intelligence apparatus. And I'm not just talking about no Rothschild either. I'm talking a little bit deeper. I'm not just talking about the Committee of 300. I'm not just talking about this council here on foreign relations. I'm not just talking about the Bilderberg group. I'm not just talking about the Club of Rome or the Round Table group. I mean, all of them goddamn crackers. When you understand the dynamic of who they are and what they are, it's nothing to look up. About look it up. Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan nor the Nation of Islam had anything to do with the assassination of Malcolm X, and it ain't nothing to Google. If that's the goddamn case, even which we know it ain't, but I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, if I knew nothing about what I'm talking about, and we just hypothetically speaking, 90 seconds, he'd be in jail. So get out of the way and stop playing. Don't do that, because that's the problem. Just like me saying, because your last name is Bay, the Moors killed Noble Drew Ali then. Even though we know the cracker did, there was a war going on with the Moors at the time. It was internal strife, shootouts, splits. So we can say the Moors killed Noble Drew Ali, so don't be a Moor anymore. Stop playing games, man. We know the enemy did it. And it's empirical data to prove that the agency were involved in the assassination of Malcolm X. There's all kind of documentation. As a matter of fact, they said it themselves. And they came to Malcolm before and told him that they could kill Elijah Muhammad and other people, and Malcolm recorded them telling them that. When Malcolm said that he was taking the U.S. government to court for crimes against humanity for black people in America, that was the final straw, and they assassinated Malcolm X with crackers in blackface, yes, but operatives and agents and the like thereof. So don't ever say that. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is a good brother, and I don't give a goddamn who is bothered by me saying that. He's a great brother. He's a good brother, regardless of who is offended by me saying that. Black Power. I'm sorry, brother caller. What?
No. 10 seconds. This brother record. No, don't even worry about it, brother. Don't even worry about it, brother. Because like I say, I'm old school, so and you're a very knowledgeable brother. Some of our knowledge, it just goes back further than others sometimes, bro. One thing I don't understand, we get a lot of our information nowadays from media.
True.
But at the same time, we have our brothers and sisters talking about Illuminati. Well, you're getting your information from media talking about Illuminati, and they own media.
Right.
So they own whatever knowledge you feel you have. When you go about what you see on TV, I know what the brother's talking about. He was talking about, because I've seen that, they have that. But I don't even want to get into that, bro. We was talking about something else. I don't even want to get into that. We was talking about black on black. You know what I mean? Because I could tell that brother Bay, whom I have a lot of love for, the CIA had rented the Audubon ballroom a week ahead of time to reconstruct the top portion.
Right.
Brothers at the bottom, they were shooting great. The CIA was shooting the real deal up top. Man, you can go back and get those files, man. Matter of fact, the brother said that Farrakhan admitted, well, the CIA admitted. So who lying and who telling the truth?
Right, and then, but
the CIA admitted it. Jump on that.
Right. Now here's the thing now.
I want to throw this at you, brother. I want to throw this at you, brother. Then I'm going to let you go with it.
Go ahead.
Let you go with it. Because initially, I asked you about the black on black thing. Call me crazy, but I don't even call it black on black. Because the non-independent people can't make an independent decision, man. I look at it as a project.
Right.
When you have a group of people in a certain area with limited resources and ability, then you're going to have chaos.
Right.
That's all dictated. That's all dictated by the same individuals that our brother is saying when he said, the ministers, did this and did that. It's the ones that was really behind the scenes doing it. Those are the same ones that are dictating back on back.
That's right.
Because you look at our brothers and sisters in Baltimore. You've seen it on TV how everything is closed down. What are we going to do? We are more intelligent than animals. You think we just going to sit back and starve?
That's right.
I hope I don't have to get my own ass out there and hustle. So we're going to do something. So
Indeed.
when you're talking about black on black crime, you're talking about something that's dictated. So I don't even call it black on black crime. If anything, I call it government black on black.
That's right.
But anyway, brother, you go ahead and finish where you're going with it. Like I said, I'm loving what I'm hearing from you. I don't usually do this Facebook thing, but all praises to my brother Abdullah. He keep me and he said, hey, brother, he invited me to come to check you out. This is my first time. I'm loving it. To my brother William Day, man, hey, brother, like the brother said earlier, we can sit here and disagree or whatever, but as long as we do it respectfully, and we still growing. So I'm loving the respect that I'm seeing, the brothers respecting each other, I'm loving all that. But when you're on your point, brother, stick to your point. Because you said earlier, going down 1 through 15, sometime when you're on a certain path, you're going to get sidetracked because people trying to throw you off your thing.
Indeed.
So just go ahead and finish on what you were saying with that black on black, brother. I'm sitting back listening.
Indeed. Well, I definitely think. What's your name, good brother?
My
Brother Raekwon. So it's very beautiful and powerful speaking with you, elder brother. Black Power.
Black power to you, brother.
So I want to get into this thing about Minister Farrakhan supposedly admitting to that. What he said was this. So you're talking to someone that Minister Farrakhan, let me explain something to you. He said that my words may have incited something because he said that he had given some type of speech, paraphrasing him, Brother William, and he said that he felt that he was worthy of that in a speech. There's a big difference between that and killing somebody. And as brother was saying, the CIA had everything mapped out in there. And not only that, Eugene Roberts, who worked with the FBI and was involved in a local special task force in New York City, Eugene Roberts, Betty Shabazz, who's a nurse, had went over to help her husband. And what Eugene Roberts did was bum rush her and went over him and smothered him, giving him fake mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. And for those who know, Eugene Roberts actually had a gun in his pocket and he shot Malcolm with a final shot. And everybody who knows what happened that knows that, one of my great comrades who is now in the ancestor realm of the Agun, Brother Steve Coakley, he could break it down no better than any other. Why don't you do some research and look at that? But let us not actually be in a position of where we're going to insult each other, or not insult each other, but what's the best way to put it? Snitch jacket each other. When you say things about Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that means that you're saying something about everybody in the Nation of Islam. And I'm not saying if he was guilty of something not to say, but he's guilty of nothing. And don't do that. He's an elder who's been around for a long time, and he'll be around a long time more. He's an elder. They threw all kind of things at him, threw cancer at him, threw all kind of stuff at him. And you say throw it at him. Yeah, because you know how they target our elders and target us with these manufactured stuff. It was a U.S. government program named MK Naomi. MK Naomi was a project coming out of the CIA's King Alpha plan. Most of y'all know but COINTELPRO, but you don't know the CIA's COINTELPRO is known as MH Chaos, and it has sub-programs. Now, MK Naomi was their program to create a biological weapon to actually kill black people. This is deep and it's true. Now, let's understand this dynamic of it. So in that, they were able to come up with ways to have carcinogens introduced to us and in certain areas of our body affecting us in a certain kind of way. And one of my comrades, my medical comrade, who is Dr. Carl Frazier, revolutionary. He was also Bob Marley's doctor. He can tell you, and he'll be on this broadcast. He tells us and told me that what happened is that when Bob Marley had the little injury on his toe, that, the little injury he had on his toe was not too much. It was something he could scrape off. He said they went to one of the medical facilities in Miami and they wanted to cut Bob Marley's leg off or something he had on his toe. And that was taken care of. He said one day they was at the park. They was at Central Park in New York jogging, and that Brother Robert Nesta Marley had fell out and started foaming out of his mouth. And Dr. Frazier eventually had no choice because he couldn't even hold down anything but to, cut him open, his stomach. And he said when he looked, it was like just nothing but just fell, like everything had metastasized. It was like his whole stomach was invaded by cancer, but no other part of his body. And it's so deep because I covered it. If you go into the archives and you look at, what is it called? The origins of biological warfare against black people, look in the archives there at www.blogtalkradio.com/Revolutionary Black Panther Party. Look in the archives here and you will see an actual broadcast I covered called The Origins of Biological Warfare Against Black People. One is also chemical warfare, but the biological warfare, and I covered it thoroughly, how they did it and what they do. And so in essence, they were able to do so. Some black artists, including his wife is Marcia Griffiths. Marcia Griffiths is the queen of reggae music, and she's a close comrade. And these are some, I ain't trying to let me not even say their name too much on here, but they're good people. Anyways, and their son is an ambassador in the Revolutionary Black Panther Party. I'm not even gonna call his name, but the whole point is that you would understand that there's a lot of heavy things. Bob Marley was a threat. If you understand how deep his music was and how it was global and what he did and the things he talked about, this was a man who, with his words, created a song that sparked a revolution called Zimbabwe. Every paraphrasing, every man has a right to decide his own destiny. Then he said, soon we'll find out who's the real revolutionaries. He's talked about mashing it up in the Zimbabwe, and the people there overthrew the no good cracker goddamn invader Ian Smith. And they changed Rhodesia into Zimbabwe. They don't get any better than that. And Mugabe, revolutionary warrior and comrade, black power to that great elder. You know, he was the one who was intricate and instrumental in doing so. So my point is that we can't get sidetracked by these conspiracy theories that Minister Farrakhan killed Malcolm. The government did that. This is goddamn what I'm covering today. This stuff that we doing, and that stuff, don't do that. Don't ever do that. No. Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan is one of the greatest teachers among us. I don't give a damn what anybody thinks about him, and think about that. But he's one of the longest standing elders amongst us, and he's done a lot of great things for us. And most of the people that's Kemetic now, and a lot of them that are Hebrews now and that are Moorish now, was once under his teaching. So stop playing with me. Don't play with me. Everybody in the 90s was under those teachings. Even people in the nation of gods and earths respect those teachers. So stop playing, man. Caller at the 980. Okay. Caller at 980-0014. Black Power, you are on.
Black Power, Chief, this is General George from Atlanta.
Black Power. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Black Power, General George.
White supremacy and how it influences, that self-hatred in the black man. I see a lot of, some of our dark-skinned brothers, they hate themselves so much that they try to get, like, a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I've seen the same thing with some of the sisters, too. And so I think one of the biggest tools that we can use against white supremacy is that of black love, especially for black nationhood. Black man, black woman. And another thing is I heard Dr. Amos Wilson, he talked about self-hate. And he would say a lot of these dudes that would be so extreme in some of the movements are dudes who are just mad because they got fired from their job or they were turned away from privileged white positions.
Mm-hmm.
And so really, if they would ask them to come back, they would leave the movement in a heartbeat. They're not really in it for the love of our people and the liberation of people. They really just love that white man and they just mad because they got this. So those are some of the points I just wanted to bring up. That, and the last point was some of the agents are people like, I feel like I've seen some people, like some of these rappers who were down or used to be down or used to have a message, when they start moving up, in that social kind of platform, then white supremacy is able to use them to spread messages of black peace. Like I heard Common say, we got to extend our hands to white folks, and peace is our biggest weapon. And I just feel like they're able to control the narrative and the message and water down the black movement. I mean, I feel like they try to do the same thing with Malcolm X. They try to paint him out to be more of a peace lover, instead of showing his real revolutionary side. I see him doing it Black Panther Party.
Indeed, you're right. And I would say something, but for the sake of history and legacy and not being one to throw some names out there of some living elders and veterans in the party, I'm gonna tell you something. And I'm gonna just say this: those who are veterans of the Black Panther Party, you know who I'm talking about and what I'm talking about. There was somebody in the party in the very beginning of the party, right? They had that issue you just talked about. They were in the white man's military. They got mad because of how he treated them, and they eventually, start getting involved in the movement, and they even were in leadership in the party. Of course, in the 70s, they left the party, but in essence, they have a lot of trash to talk about some key figures in the party, especially Huey, who the government targeted. So you always know that what you're saying is 100% true. When Dr. Amos Wilson said, "I say to him," and all of his great work is very true. And also in the actual corollary, and this is what I covered tonight. One aspect of that was that particular person who was just jealous of white folks because they weren't white. And that's a dynamic too, that we have to deal with, those people who in essence are really just mad at them because they want something they got, or they mad because they fired them. They mad because they were dating a white girl and she broke his heart or something like that. That's like, you know, if OJ get back and he black, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to get too deep into that. But the whole point is that if they got a second opportunity, true, because the mental condition of why they are doing what they're doing still has not been dealt with. And what we have to do is we have to understand that we do have issues and be ready to work on the curatives and preventatives of them, because that's the only way we're going to succeed. That's the major reason why we haven't succeeded as long as we have, because we haven't dealt with a lot of our issues. I mean, it's some stuff we do is totally insane, but we don't really get it. But we'll get it. And it's those of us who are experts in certain areas to be able to help us. And we have to be able to respect that. But I definitely thank you for the good information you gave. It was on point. It was right and exact. And, you know, y'all are going out there this weekend, right? General George, Black Power?
Right. Got everything set up.
Copy that. So I look forward. Copy that. So I look forward to it. Look forward to the chapter out there, the good work y'all doing out there in the Atlanta area. Revolutionary Love and Black Power to you, or do you have anything else you'd like to express? Because the line is open to you if you want to. No,
that's all I got.
Okay, very good. Well, very good hearing your words, very powerful. Revolutionary Love and Black Power to you, General. Black Power. And that's General George, the Revolutionary Black Panther Party Atlanta chapter. Black Power, General George.
Black Power.
Black Power.
Black Power, Black Power. So for those of you, see some of y'all and messed up, because I'm not even sure if you could dial in at this particular point, but there's a time and period. When I told y'all to call in, that's when you could have called in. The only thing you could do, I'm not even going to advise you that because you're going to interrupt your stuff if you call my phone. But the whole point is that as you were getting into that whole thing earlier, I would never tolerate us making those kind of wild accusations, because the government did that. At that time, the nation was so strong before they assassinated Malcolm and before COINTELPRO was able to divide the nation in order for Malcolm to be out the nation. Malcolm was not a threat to the nation. Malcolm was a threat to the enemy. And also, let me explain this to you, how deep this is. And this can be verified. This is factual. Dr. Manning Marbles, who is not a white boy, somebody said they got to do better research. He was black. Yeah, he wrote some stuff in the book that was hearsay on Malcolm's life, you know, with these accusations sexually. But that's just his opinion and hearsay. But the facts that he did write that was in the book was the fact that the U.S. government, and this is documented, had Alex Haley take out chapters out of the autobiography of Malcolm X. And in those chapters, look it up, the chapters taken out the autobiography. Many of us here have read the autobiography, that the U.S. government had Alex Haley take them out because in those chapters, Malcolm talked about taking his armed version of the civil rights movement and combining it with the nation to form a very powerful group, and about his actual, the peace between him and Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and because they were talking at one point in time before he passed. But whenever you got operatives whispering, no matter how great we are, sometimes it weighs in after a while. And then people are going to act out to certain things because certain behaviors we have with each other, not understanding that COINTELPRO and the enemy is pulling the strings behind the scene. But there were pages taken out the autobiography of Malcolm X, and many of us read the autobiography. I've read the autobiography. Many of us read that. And the autobiography had a great impact on our lives. Many of us, no matter how much we thought we knew. And in the condition that it was in, where he had all this powerful stuff, then he went to Mecca and talked about the bluest of eyes and all the other stuff. It still didn't change how we felt, anything that was there. But Manning Marbles, in his book that he wrote, like I said, you could disregard all the stuff he talked about Malcolm's sexuality and all his other things, because that was his opinion and hearsay. But the empirical facts that are there about the actual documents being taken out, those are names and areas and where it is and who has it and all of that. It's in a vault that this attorney has. Those actual pages from the biography that was taken out. And I forget how much money is worth now to get a hold of those pages, but there's a price on those pages. And in those pages, he was talking about the unification and creating a movement that was all so powerful. So don't believe the hype at all. Malcolm's autobiography was made to read like how it read, like he did a 360. And the things you learn about Dr. King is made for you to believe so, but anybody around Dr. King will tell you Dr. King had a gun. And there was a lot of stuff that kept him from not using that gun. And he always had a firearm in the home, and if you want to understand some dynamics of the struggle of why some of us, some of our people, try to present a different thing besides that, is because of some influences sometimes that they may have. But we stand up armed for Black humanity and Black African human rights. And we stand up to defend it. And we stand up armed. Whenever we have our armed marches, these are armed marches against terrorism and genocide against people of African descent carried out by agents of the state known as law enforcement. We're talking about the real radical terrorists, radical police terrorists, radical police extremists, because we are anti-terrorists. For those of you who are interested in joining the Revolutionary Black Panther Party, again, you can go to our website at www.therevolutionaryblackpantherparty.org. That is www.therevolutionaryblackpantherparty.org. We also have our hotline there. You can also email us at RBPP nationalhq@gmail.com, RBPP nationalhq@gmail.com. You can inbox me, Dr. Alli Muhammad, Chief General Command, ALLI MUHAMMAD, or you can inbox the Deputy Chief, Amina. You can inbox her as well, on Facebook as Amina Zuri Asset. You can inbox her, and you can reach out to us whichever way you choose to, if you're interested in joining and helping with this great work to serve the community. And again, those are the ways. As a matter of fact, I give you the hotline number instead of me just saying go to the website and get that. I ain't gonna be lazy. I'm gonna try to let me try to do that quickly, give that over to you. And I have to, y'all gotta give me one quick second to do so. Okay, so you're gonna dial one. Goodness. Give me a second. I'm getting there. But anyways, go to the website www.therevolutionaryblackpantherparty.org. You can go there, but I'm getting to the actual you have to give me a second. Let me see. I gotta go far to put this in. That's kind of why I was trying to look in something to do it, but give me 1 second. Queen, you can take over while I do this for a second to give them that information. Go ahead.
Time, Brother Bay. Yes, Black Power, family. I think, okay. I wonder if is this the number right? He just put it. I don't know. What is it?
Oh, that's his number.
Oh, that's your number. Okay.
I'll
write your number down, brother.
Yeah, write his number down. Okay, where are we at?
Black Power, if anybody or if anyone is interested in joining, you can inbox myself, or you can also, again, inbox Dr. Alli Muhammad or Alli Muhammad, ALLI Muhammad. Inbox him for more information. If you want to know more about what we do and what we're about, you can go to therevolutionaryblackpantherparty.org. If you want to know more of what we are and what we're about.
I can't believe that
512-931.
I can't believe this is going on. As a matter of fact, I need to give me a second. Wouldn't even it wouldn't come up. So you get little funny things like what I'm actually getting while I'm here trying to go to this website. Okay, let me do this.
Black Power, brother, I got your number written down. We'll be getting in contact with you. Black Power, thank you for being interested. Black Power.
Let me actually ease up a second.
Okay.
What do you see right there on the thing? Let me know when the website comes up. No, let me know when it comes up.
Black Power, Chief is getting the information for the hotline. Brother Magnolia said you inboxed me last week. I'll make sure, just inbox me again because I get a lot of inboxes throughout the week. So just inbox me again. Let me know it's you.
All right, sorry about that, y'all. So here we go to the family. So the actual hotline number is 877-235-3318. That's 877-235-3318. So again, if you are interested in joining the Revolutionary Black Panther Party, you can reach us at www.therevolutionaryblackpantherparty.org. You can reach us at RBPP National HQ at gmail.com. You can also call 877-235-3318, 877-235-3318 if you're interested. Great work that we do. Our mission is to feed, clothe, shelter, train, and defend the community. And of course, as you see this work that's being done tonight, it's about helping us with our conditions on that level. We have to deal with our mind and the issues that we have targeting us so we can actually change that and become a better people. We have many movements that have come since we were on the plantation and since the indigenous people in this land was invaded. Those of us from that persuasion. And still we're in this condition, in this position. And it has a lot to do with our psychological position and our psychological condition. And we got to get better. So we deal with solutions, curatives, and preventatives. So that is the way to reach us. If you're interested in joining, again, you can inbox myself, ALI, Alli, last name Muhammad. Also, you can inbox the Queen, Deputy Chief. So at this time, for those who did call in, if you have a final opportunity to express anything you would like to express, and we definitely do thank you for being as attentive as you have been. And we'll be, for those of you who have sent us messages about membership, we'll be speaking with you soon. We love you. We appreciate all of you. And Brother William Bay, thank you for sharing what you shared, because it also opens up good dialogue. It also
supporting, of course, supporting is very
key.
It's very key. We need supporters, most definitely. I'm saying this, whatever we can get for the movement, we all need each other. Unity is key. So supporting is something most definitely you can do. Indeed. And I'll get your number down.
We appreciate each and every one of you. We love you, and this work is done for you. I know for some of you it was powerful seeing the Cubs tonight. Some of y'all ain't heard them in a good while. And that's because their father, myself, I've been out here in the field, help on the ground with some of you. And when I go on the ground, it's them, who they're sometimes and most of the time at home while their father is out helping the people. And they know the work is serious. That's why they study hard. Like I said, they're being raised to be doctors and engineers and nation builders and lawyers and things of that nature to deal with the issue. And the thing about it is that that's the best thing we could do, is to make sure that our babies can do what they do.
Right.
So
the Klan, then, you know what I'm saying? White supremacy always training their children how to shoot and how to fight and educating them on their so-called history. So it's okay for us to dig a little deeper in our own history and get our own children prepared how to live from the land, how to read and write and speak different languages. It's okay to do that. So don't be afraid to allow your children and yourself to speak out and have a voice, because that's something that we're not used to having. We always speak about revolution. We always speak about we need to do something. But when it comes to that, people don't want to just get into the movement because of being afraid and fear of what people think and fear of, the government going to be out there, something like that. That's why we have to come together as one, so we can protect each other, because if we all are at one, then we can't be moved. So we just have to get it together.
Indeed. And like the Queen said, that's the reason why, again, we got to be together. We got to unite. And these babies are very important. They are the future, And see, the enemy themselves, they try so many different things, right? But I ain't gonna put too much stuff out there. But they know that my mind is deep. They know that I'm a great strategist, not beating my own drum or toot my own horn. They know that. And I would say a grandmaster strategist, some have said to me, right? So here's the thing now. So you can try as you may and try as you will, make an operative out of this person, send one in that way. Who cares? I got the babies. You forgot that? And you can try them as they may, but you really can't keep up with all my babies. We smart in that way too. You can see some of them, but you won't see all of them. So they they have the information, all of it, and they too will have babies. So hey, if you do anything, period, in any way, shape, or form, to try to restrict what is necessary, lawfully speaking, ain't nobody talking about no crime or nothing. Everything we do is lawful. Then understand that there's a generation who's right behind me. If you think I'm something, they're on a whole different level. And when I say they're on a whole different level, those are young geniuses there that their mind is so sharp. So try as you may and try as you will. But a loot to continue. The revolution, the struggle continues always. As I myself was raised by strong, bold, revolutionary Black Panther parents who taught me right and who held it down well with me. And the reason why I became a doctor, medical doctor, and the reason why I went to do the things that I've done in research and studies and life and serving the people. And also the reason why I got involved in psychology as well. It's the same reasons why they're doing what they're doing, because they have a father and they have a mother and they have mothers and they have people around them who are strong and who make sure that they hold it down. And one thing that the enemy fears, you see this right here? This is Black love. This is the most revolutionary thing you can do also, because Black love creates Black life. And that's the real energy of a Black life matter and bringing that into existence. And
first thing they target is the Black family. Take the Black father out of the home, lock him up, so there's no father in the home.
Yes.
Separate the families and force the mother to depend on government assistance or, some type of assistance other than the support of their own father. So that's one thing that's very targeted with our people is the Black family.
Indeed. Very much indeed. So at this particular time, I'm going to leave it up to the Queen, but I'm going to close out. I love y'all. It was a pleasure having y'all tune in and be as attentive as you have been, and tune in when we go over the actual curative and preventative for this particular disorder. We'll be in Flint in the upcoming week. We'll also be there next weekend dealing with this issue, Human Rights Tribunal, armed activity. You have anything you want to say, Queen, before we close out?
No. Yeah, but we are going to Flint, doing a Human Rights Tribunal for the water and how the treatment of the people is there. So we recommend a lot of support, and we ask that if you can come out and support, then that'd be great. You know what I'm saying? So we really appreciate everybody for joining in and tuning in. Next time we'll cover more on the next broadcast. Black Power.
Black Power, Black Power. We love y'all. Revolutionary love and Black Power to each and every one of you. Black Power.